I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social Security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hello and welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. As always, I am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and this is the show where each and every week I welcome an interesting person to the show since February 14, 2014 to discuss classic television, whatever the hell else we want, using a back issue of TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration for our conversation. And this week is yet another person I've wanted to have on the show for a really, really long time. Yes, 12 years into the show, 12 plus years into the show, there are still people I've been trying to get on forever who are still alive. I give up once they're no longer with us. That's a long list as well. And that will continue. And we've had a few recently and some great long episodes recently. There's been some long ones. So for those of you who like the long ones, that sounds dirty and it's not. Long episodes, you're in for another one. My guest this week is Rodney Anonmyous, musician, Dead Milkman, awesome dude. Obviously the Dead Milkmen are great. If you don't know of the Dead Milkman's music, check it out because it's fantastic. But Rodney's also a really great DJ and blogger and has a great YouTube channel, and the Dead Milkman YouTube channel is excellent. I don't think they do it as frequently anymore, but every week they had a show called Big Questions with the Dead Milkman. That was like must see TV. That was my Saturday morning viewing for the last several years. And I finally had a chance to sit down with Rodney and talk TV. You can go to rodneyanonymous.com or just Google it. Just Google it. Google the Dead Milkman, or you can find him. Or you can email me at ken@icanread.com or tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com or on the social medias or on Patreon. $5 or more a month, you'd get a PDF of this week's issue of TV Guide. We're talking bicentennial, and you could follow along with Rodney and myself. But if you just want to listen, you don't want to have to do work, you can do that too, and you're welcome to do that now, because this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor is about to start with my guest, Rodney Anonmyous.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from Philadelphia, Rodney, how are you?
I'm not really here. Don't fool the people. Don't lie to the people. This is just an impersonator. It's just me flapping my hand under my armpit and making it sound like a human.
It's AI. It's some 12-year-old in Pakistan.
There you go. I'm getting really good at sounding like this guy. Occasionally I do, just a little sideline, occasionally I do voice acting. It's rare that I do it, but there's I was hired because of my thick Philly accent to do a lot of stuff, and my voice, which has been on some stuff, is kind of recognizable. And I found out recently there's a guy who sounds just like me who costs more to hire than me.
It's like those people who have to audition to play themselves in things.
Yeah. Our guitarist Joe once entered a punk rock girl karaoke thing and came in third, and we never let him. Third, not second. Third. We've never let him hear the end of it.
That's rough. That's rough. And did he reveal himself at any point, or was he just like?
You mean expose himself? Yeah, he's not allowed within 300-400 yards.
Because I read that article. But no, I'd be like, I'm the actual guy.
No, he doesn't have that in him. He would just kind of walk off and think it was funny and laugh. And when we found out from somebody else telling us 6 or 7 months later, you know this? I'm like, no, he doesn't speak. Yeah. He's very introverted.
Yes, so if the listeners will know, if they didn't, I mentioned it before, you are in the Dead Milkman, obviously. That's Joe you're discussing, the Punk Rock Girl song. A longtime favorite of mine. My wife and I will often quote Bitch and Camaro.
No refunds, by the way. I got to put that up front. You ain't getting your money back.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, so I'm very excited, and I love the YouTube channel I've been watching for years. It's my favorite thing.
Thank you.
You guys, the recommendations, I found so much cool stuff that I never would have checked out before.
Recommendations was fun. I stole that from We Have a Technical. Well, I mean, it's hard to steal giving recommendations, but there's a podcast called We Have a Technical, which is an industrial dark wave goth podcast. And at the end of it, they would always go recommendations, and I'd be scribbling stuff down. Yeah, I think recommendations kind of like the best thing that you can do. I pop up. I don't do music podcasts. I only pop up on like media, like movie podcasts and stuff. Anytime I see a thing for 10 best films of the year, I'm scribbling away at it. So yeah,
same. I'm always looking for recommendations from people who I know like similar things that I do, but not the exact same.
Yeah,
because then I'm like, I know that thing.
Friends of mine just had like a top 10, and one of the top 10 films in it was The Ugly Stepsister, which I loved, and I'm like, the fact that this made it into the top 10 makes me so happy.
Yes. Oh yeah. There's always some bizarre. Yeah, I always love those channels that are like the 10 weirdest movies on Tubi right now or something, and I'm like, I generally always know all of them, which is kind of makes me sad about myself. But
here's 15 horror movies you've never heard of them. So like,
Reanimator.
You want to,
like really?
Here's a really outrageous film. It's called Something About Mary. I'm like, I was raised on John Waters movies. What? No.
I have when Something About Mary came out, I was working at a local radio station, and I used to get promos, and I have it somewhere still. They gave out promotional hair gel. It's branded Something About Mary, and I'm like, oh man.
I guess John Waters used to get mad that they didn't use the real stuff. Which that was always my argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. Maybe that's what was in the hair gel.
I never opened it, so it's still to this day. That hair gel would be 22 years old right now. I'd be driving a car to college. So you picked an issue here. We're in, 1972?
1976.
76. So we
1976. I will be 12 years old, although I will end up turning 13 before this episode is over.
May 15th to 21st, 1976, bicentennial. We got a rare...
Well, I don't want to go into its private life. If it's bicentennial, straight centennial, fluid centennial, let it do its thing.
I 100% know that there's some dumbass conservatives who would think that's a thing. Like, I realized, you know when they were like banning comic books from school libraries?
Yep.
It hit me one day. I was listening to one of those like Moms for Liberty people talk, and she was like, these are graphic novels. And I'm like, she thinks graphic means sexual. Like, she has no idea.
We're using Arabic numbers. Yeah, we had them here. They were here in Philly, and we had a big protest. I wanted the DJ, but I just ended up hanging out and dancing. And every time we would all look like we were all having a good time, they would send somebody over to shout at us to try to goad us all on.
Yeah.
And they were so easy to mock.
Oh, yeah.
Biggest pack of more. And then like one of the leaders got arrested for sexual assaults.
Of course. They always do.
Yeah. They always do. Something my dad said to me when I was a kid, he said, well, at that time at this point in the 70s or late 70s, the moral majority was being a thing. And my dad always said, anytime I hear a guy talking about family and Jesus, I know he's got a goat in a tutu locked up in his basement. My dad said a lot of smart things.
It's true, though. Like, the people who are, like, angriest about a thing, it's because they hate themselves. It's like every time. Every time. So the cover here is a very more abstract than normal cartoon. It almost looks like claymation. It's like a pastel.
I like it. It's that weird thing between when they were leaning towards ultra realism at the end of the 70s, early 80s, and that sort of abstract madman style art that they would have. So yeah, it looks very 70s.
Incredibly 70s, like the color scheme. We got pink bricks. I
didn't say it was accurate. Yeah, no. I didn't say.
I mean, you were there. Was it like?
The 70s were just completely brown, and orange, and that was it.
We had Caldor rainbow.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna call it the beige age.
Yes. I didn't notice that. Now it's like a magenta wall.
Yeah. It's like a weird. It looks kind of like a.
And it's a prison. And they're breaking rocks in the prison instead of attempting to break out of of the magenta wall, which is interesting.
And this is for the show On the Rocks.
On the Rocks, which was
Yes.
a brilliant show, long before there was Prisoner in Cell Block H or Orange is the New Black. This was an actual show I loved as a kid. It didn't last long. And the actor who played Fuentes, they interview him later on in this, but I remember seeing him when I was young. My parents used to watch a lot of PBS, not because they were huge intellectuals, but because they felt it was like sneaking into a country club. They're like, we're not paying him. And they had a steam bath with Valley Piranhas nude in it. Yeah. And we actually saw that. And I just, this guy was great in that. And I was so happy to see him in a series. And there are 2 episodes of the series that stand out in my head. One where Fuentes manages to escape and spends the whole night running around the desert and then winds up back where he started. And the other one is where Fuentes, the guys are in jail and they're worried about their wives cheating on them. So Fuentes writes letters to the wives. He's very good at writing romantic letters. And there's a gay man in the prison. It was really weird. This is 1976. Yeah. And you didn't see a lot of LGBTQ plus representation on TV. And he's like, well, I want you to write my boyfriend because I'm worried he might cheat on me. It's like, you're in here with 5,000 men, and he's out. So it was just it was a way ahead of his time. It was a very clever, and I did enjoy the interview with the actor that I found at the very end through thousands of cigarette commercials. And there's a commercial there's a little ad in this episode, in this issue, for one of those truck horns, those air horns that goes on. Limit 2 per customer.
And this is a New York edition too, so I'm like, wow, it's limit 2 in New York. I can't imagine if we get down south.
I've always wanted to send in, I like to take the old cards and stuff and send in and see if anybody ever writes back. I
always like to look up the addresses to see what they are now. That's always fun.
I look up, every now and then you'll get usually it's P.O. Box, but you'll get an actual Google address, an actual address where you can look at in Google Earth. That was my wife and I were looking at something on Google Earth. Oh, there'd been a murder and the truck involved was still 3 years later was still parked outside the place, so you can see it on Google Earth. I'm like, makes you feel part of it. Makes you feel
my favorite Google Earth or Google Street View story is I used to live in Somerville, Mass, which is like Boston's Brooklyn. It was when it was super not desirable to live there, and there was a halfway house kind of kitty cornered from my apartment, and there was a woman there who was some kind of developmentally disabled, and her name was Jackie, and big lady, and her boyfriend was a homeless gentleman, and he would show up once a day, and the way he would call for her was he would stand in the street and yell, Jackie, Jackie, honey, Jackie, for like hours, and he would always have super weird outfits on. Like, this is not even a joke. One day he showed up in a cape and boots and a graduation hat.
And nothing else, and a smile,
like some kind of like workout gear. So one day the two of them were on my street on the sidewalk making out on a mattress.
Oh,
and the cops pulled up, and the cop gets out and he goes, "Are you kidding me?" And then they're like, "What?" And then the guy goes, "If we move the mattress, can we still do this?" But they would sit on like the stairs, and so I was trying to give someone directions to my old apartment, and I look on Street View, and they're sitting on my stairs in the street.
Oh, there you go. Like, I'd be so happy.
I took a screenshot. They're not there now when you look, but I have it. I'm like,
they're probably on that police body cam footage. Channel, they're out making out. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, they're the only people on that who aren't sovereign citizens.
Yeah, that's true. What? Am I being detained? Am I being detained? I
am the living man. Capital period.
Like, are you talking to the entity, the corporation, or the individual?
Is this maritime law?
It hasn't worked for any of those. Those guys are like, when you see like 15 teenagers in a rented limo, like yelling at girls, like 15, and you're like, this hasn't worked in like generations. Just stop. Yeah,
it's not going to work. There's always cigarette brands. Now, I've been doing the show a long time. I've seen a lot of TV guides, and every single issue there's a brand of cigarettes I've never heard of before.
Bel Air. There's a brand of cigarettes that apparently it comes with a his and her watch. Yes. Is that inside the what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what there says they're Timexes too. And I like it goes, the light touch. Just the right touch of menthol.
Ooh.
And then the one on the back cover is now. cigarettes,
Yeah.
which I've never heard of. And I love they have tar in quotes, like it's not actually tar.
It does say, yeah.
2
An
milligrams
invitation to smoke now.
is the lowest. It's just a baffling world to me. And having never smoked, it's always fascinating to me.
Same thing here. I never smoked. I always hung out with the kids who did because they led lively lives.
Sure.
And it says, this is some madman style writing here, an invitation to smoke now. Oh, that's so clever.
It's very subtle.
Algonquin roundtable material.
We call this bliminal. It's not some.
Somewhere it's like a 5-year-old kid going through the TV guide going, I really want to have a smoke now.
Now I'm going to wait till later. Then there's an ad in here for joining the army.
Yes, I see. I'm looking at it right here with a Tudor style home. I'm guessing it probably located in Germany, but yeah.
I would think so, but this looks like you're invading this country. It's tanks rolling down the street in this Tudor style home, and then on the far right hand side, I assume these are people who are in the army, but it just looks like a photo of the Smiths.
This is how they came for Andrew Mountbatten.
Yes.
They pulled up with some tanks outside of Tudor House. And I saw them. There's some interesting shorts there, is what I'm going to say. They're not
weird.
flattering.
I think we could do a fantastic prank on the world by taking that photo and claiming it's like a lost 80s Britpop band that everyone loved.
That'd be great.
See if we could get people to admit they really like them.
It also makes me happy that the P.O. Box is located here in Philadelphia.
Yes.
19143, very close to my zip code. So.
But it's like this implies, it says a tour in Europe means 2 things, hard work and a chance to travel. You've got to want both. And this is like, this basically says like, you ever want to invade another country? It's like, okay.
You think these buildings look cool now? When you see them on the drugs we'll be putting in your food.
Yes. You won't be able to get a boner, but you will be paranoid.
Project MK Ultra takes you to Europe.
Yes. MK Ultra European Tour. And then there's a really fascinating article in here that's very critical of the Emmys.
Yes,
And
I
it's
saw that.
well thought out, and it's not... I mean, it is kind of bitchy, but it's like this kind of fascinating sort of canned history of the Emmys and like kind of an argument for why they shouldn't even have them.
What I thought was interesting was that they actually had an award created for Best Commercial Campaign.
Yeah.
And it was won by Ford, but it was sponsored by Chrysler. I saw this and I thought it's like, how we complained about the Grammys, how, Jethro Tull had won Best Metal Album at one point and stuff. This looks like at one point somebody smoked a lot of angel dust and said, I'm going to do the Grammys, man.
Where's Mary Hartman? What category you can put that in, bro?
Wait, Mary Hartman was in this?
Yeah, it says, where do we put Mary Hartman? Are we a comedy series? Or we belong in the special classification area?
Mary Hartman stands above everything else. My
100%.
family, my mother was obsessed with. First of all, I was walking around today singing Baby Boy, which is the song that Loretta sings. But there are a couple of great things. My mom was obsessed with it. My father was a steel worker and would work late. So we would stay up on like Friday night. Now, they would show it every night of the week. And
like
there was
10
one
or
radio
11
station.
o'clock, right?
Yeah, there's a radio station that would recap it. Every day would recap what had happened on Mary Hartman. But there's an incredible episode where Loretta, a simple country girl, goes live, who, by the way, had 2 great songs, Baby Boy, and another one, it was I'm an Engineer on a Train to Heaven, about the mass murderer.
Yes.
I was like the only 9-year-old with a Mary Hartman t-shirt. But there was an episode, my mom actually fell off the couch watching this. So Loretta goes on the Dinah Shore show. And they're not taping it. It's Dinah's first live broadcast. So they're cooking sweet potato pie baked at 1,000 degrees or something. Because Loretta doesn't really cook.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how they, they came and picked her up in a limo, these guys and these producers, to take her to the show. And then they went somewhere, and the chauffeur told me that they're Jewish. And Dinah Shore's like, well, I guess they are. She goes, and they were so nice. And then there's the people what killed our Lord. And then they flash this thing like, the opinion expressed by Mrs. Shore's guest does not necessarily recommend, not necessarily the opinion of Dinah Shore, this network, or the United States of America. My mother now has to explain this to people in our town. who are not the brightest people. So they're like, well, why did they let her go on there? And my mom's like, no, it's a show. But why? Why would they go live? And my mom just eventually gave up. And I just remember my mom struggling to explain this to people. And I'm like, don't worry, Mom, I'll pick up the torch. And one day I'll be on a thing called a podcast.
And that's why it got canceled, though. It was
so good.
It was so good. It was too good for the audience. It was being sort of broadcast to. Like they were sort of marketing it as like a nightly soap, like a straightforward nightly soap. And I think a lot of people were just so confused.
I can remember to this, like it was yesterday, the coach drowning in his soup, or Garth Gimble, Bart's brother, getting impaled on the Christmas tree. But also, Dennis the Cop is in one. I have it on here. I'm a big fan of the movie Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, which we'll probably get to at some point. But he was on that show. Dennis the Cop and appears in the movie, so it always tied those together.
Alan
Something
Ormsby?
made me very happy.
Alan Ormsby, Florida. Film?
Alan Ormsby, made it down to Florida with the Jeff Gillen is in it, who later gets to play Santa Claus in A Christmas Story. It's done by Bob Clark, who made he made A Christmas Story, Black Christmas, Porky's. Yeah, what an incredible career!
And one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and in my view, the single greatest horror allegory for the Vietnam War. Death Dream.
Death Dream. Death Dream is amazing. Yeah,
such a run out of a movie.
Oh my God! Way. The dog scene. Woof.
When he's just begging his parents to bury him, literally digging his own grave. Like,
some of the rough date in that film.
Yeah,
too. It's got Anya Ormsby in it. It's got a lot of the people he worked with. So yeah.
That is, I love that movie. Then we got to think about Peter Ustinov and Zero Mostel in here.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
I'm like, is this for someone's locker pinup? Like, it's like a photo spread of these two guys looking just miserable.
They couldn't get Topol.
No.
They wanted Topol for the shot, but he was off. So, Zero, come on in.
We'll get two of them. That'll make it better. Make it easier.
It's like a police lineup of old men.
It really is.
That's the one officer. Yeah.
Have you ever seen? I don't know why this made me think of it, but a couple years ago they declassified a bunch of Cold War era stuff from the Soviet Union, and this was real. It was like a Soviet manual on how to disguise yourself as a spy. And it's got all these photos of this one spy with like different looks. And it's so funny because it looks like a Matt Berry joke. And it's not. It's real. And I'm like, how is this real? And this is what these guys look like.
It is totally. It's like if you went to like acting class and you were doing not even like it's I want to say, well, not Fiddler on the Roof because it's close enough, but this is somebody really, really missing the mark.
It's like you guys are the narrator on Our Town together. Yeah, you're going to have to do it in tandem.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a new interpretation.
And you have to tap out. Tag team, tag team old man. All right, you're in.
And then also, before we close the door on Mary Hartman, I was the only person I know that when Louise Lasser showed up in Frankenhooker, I was like, amazing. You want a sandwich? I was like, the best.
I love that movie so much. My wife talks about it a lot because of the occasionally you'll find online the boxes, the video boxes that you would push and go, want a date? Yeah. Oh, well, she had shown that to her friends long before she was young, long before she met me, and they wouldn't let her pick out movies anymore. But I love that movie so much. That is like, the super crack will do the job much better. Yeah, Louise Lasser, not a great stint on Saturday Night Live.
Nope.
But
and the handful of people banned for life with Milton Berle and Steven Seagal.
Yeah. And Frank Zappa, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How's that for, if they were alive, that would be your new Expendables. Like all
that
the people.
That would be, yeah. Put that together. Put that team together. And have them go on Jimmy Fallon. There we go. We can finally put something good in there.
Then there's an interesting thing here about the U.S. Commissioner of Education.
Yes.
So this is when are we in Carter yet? 76?
No. We're still in Ford. Ford's going to be president up through the bicentennial.
But we're moving towards a little, like that little liberal blip.
That little period of sanity.
Yes.
Yeah. Between Ford and Reagan, there was a window of sanity when we all thought, we're going to be college professors and we'll get money from the government to pay for it. And it was there. And it was gone.
And so they're like sort of talking about how television should be used as like this great unifier or thing that could educate all these people of various social classes. And we're not quite there yet, but we could be.
Here's the thing. I watched a lot of television as a kid.
Same.
And growing up, I met a lot of people who weren't allowed to watch television. And I hate to make a blanket statement, but they were all pretty much morons.
Yeah, real fuck-ups. Like the people were like, my dad said I'm not allowed to watch MTV because it's a bad influence. And I'm like, you just shoplifted a bunch of cigarettes. Like, like that.
It's so, I spend an inordinate amount of my life explaining history, current events, basic science to people who were not allowed to watch TV as kids. Yeah. I mean, I know people with like the vocabulary of like a barnacle, and they're like, no, my mom wouldn't let me. My mom, one of the things, again, it's Tales of My Parents and TV. One of the things that sticks in my head was my mom was a huge Monty Python fan. And well, she still is. She turned 87 yesterday. But she, a huge Monty Python fan. And when she first stumbled upon it, she just couldn't believe it. And we were in a grocery store, and I'm, again, like 8 or 9 years old, max. And she's talking to this woman and about Monty Python. The woman's like, oh, I wouldn't let anybody in my family watch that. And my mom, I guess she'd had enough. I guess she was still smarting from the Mary Hartman incident and she goes, well, yeah, but you're the kind of person they're making fun of. And this woman went, exactly. And it was like this shining moment for me. I was like, oh my God. Not every adult is smart. No. Like, you can actually be a kid and be smarter than adults. And yeah, I watched when I was I think like in kindergarten or something. We had like a student teacher, and they would pick a student and they would write a paper on them. And she had picked me, and I guess she thought I was a lot cleverer than I was, which I'm not. And then she had my mom come in. Now my mom. My father's a steel worker. My mom was an executive secretary. So my mom takes a day off work thinking I'm in trouble.
Right.
And comes in, and the woman's talking to her. And she's like, she goes, well, your son has a very large vocabulary. Do you play a lot of word games and stuff? And my mom's like, I work for a living. Yeah. It's like, you don't obviously know a lot of working class people, but we are very, very busy. She goes, well, and the woman's like, I remember it. Again, one of the things I remember like it was yesterday, she said, well, he used the word resemblance the other day. And my mom goes, yeah, he got it off a rerun of Beverly Hillbillies. And you can see, I probably replaced it in my head, but you could probably see this woman's soul implode.
Oh, yeah. She thought she discovered the future of education.
Yeah, she thought we were like sitting around, like reading, Harold Pinter plays to each other or something all night. And then no. But my mom always said, a dumb kid who, a smart kid who watches a lot of television is still probably going to be a smart kid. Yeah. I mean, we used to discuss Freud in our family. We said, sit around the table. We had very, very clever conversations, but we also watched a lot of dumb crap on TV or stuff that now you might see as smart stuff. I would say later on, Gilligan's Island, those people were just as real to me as the characters in The Tempest. Yeah. And also, Gilligan's Island's a microcosm of America. You can go into a lot of that deconstruction, but
you learn. My mom, you learn structure too. Like especially people who end up going in the arts later. Like you reverse engineer kind of story structure or like joke structure. Like everyone I know who is one of us, and I apologize for lumping you in there, but
I'm fine.
That's kind of what ended up happening. Like we're watching this stuff and watching how our parents watched it and the reactions, and like, okay, I think that's because of this, and you sort of pick up, how those things are structured. So you sort of enjoy something like Gilligan's Island on multiple levels because of that.
Well, Steve Coogan pointed out with Python that before VCRs, when everything was live and then gone, you would have to memorize it. You would sit there as a kid because your mom would go, do that thing they did with that parrot. Can you do that parrot thing? And you would do that back. So we would watch this stuff. And again, I would do the Mary Hartman stuff. My sisters would, maybe my younger sister has it. There's a picture of us in Disney World, less than 10 years old, with our Mary Hartman shirts on.
The only ones in the world.
I am so proud. Well, the people at Disney World were like, they were coming in, they'd go, I love that show. I just remember that,
Of course, you've heard the Elvis story about Monty Python in the videos, right?
Yes, he was totally obsessed with Python. Yes.
He had them all transcribed so that they could do the sketches, which is so funny. It's like, yep, makes sense.
I love the idea of him sitting on that 16-foot couch.
Yeah.
Funniest thing I ever seen. Sonny, get in here. Get in here, son. Turn the
Say
bomb,
your name
son.
something two shits. Do that
Yeah,
again.
he used that, and he would use those as like the names, like Arthur Two Sheds and stuff when he was on the road.
Oh yeah. There's I think it's that Having Fun with Elvis LP that's just all the between song banter thing.
Yeah.
And there's a couple he does in there, and then he does that weird thing that when I fell in love with Chris Elliott as a comedic force was when I noticed when he would go on weird rants on Letterman and on Get a Life, he would end them with plus tax. Because Elvis used to do that on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, plus tax. Like, it was like the craziest thing to say at the end of a rant. And I'm
I
like,
love it when you go to Graceland. First of all, if you go to like Monticello and they're like, here's a 700-year-old chair, which Thomas Jefferson had, brought over here from England. And you go to Elvis's house, and the furniture's all plastic. And like, Elvis bought this furniture because his dad made fun of it. We used to have a waterfall in this room. But then they talk about Elvis's favorite show because he had 3 TVs, because LBJ had 3 TVs. And say like, he loved watching the Jeffersons. And for the rest of the day, me and my friends would be walking around going, well, moving on up, to the sky. Yeah.
Birds don't fly in the kitchen.
He liked MASH. Yeah, it's just like they tell you his favorite TV shows, which I think is great. A little insight into them. Yeah.
Totally. So then, where are we? Anything else before we get into the listings here? Oh, a beautiful Azusa Moore smoking.
There's a thought, and I hate to use the word thought in this name together. A thought piece from Pat Buchanan.
There is.
Yes. Let's skip over the racism there.
It's actually kind of interesting. Like
it is not bad.
Rereading this, I was like, with the lens of these people now, I was like, this man sounds like a reasonable genius.
Yes.
Comparison.
Yeah, I mean, but we're comparing him to people like Joe Rogan.
Yes,
So,
yes. One of the dumbest humans to ever walk the planet.
Yes.
And as a Bostonian who does stand up, I apologize. It's our fault. So Saturday, let's jump into this. This is a New York edition.
Yeah, yes, I am so excited.
New York stations in Philly, right? I imagine like some of the UHF
okay,
stations.
I didn't get cable. Well, first of all, Philly and cable is a weird story. None of the surrounding areas or Philadelphia had cable for the longest time, as the powers that be, the boys from Jersey, debated as to how this would all be divided up. So we did not have cable we didn't have public access in Philly. Or in Pennsylvania. Our governor at one point had Governor Rendell had said, we were trying to get public access. He was like, I've been to other states, I've seen it, you wouldn't like it. And I'm like, but no, like I know someone. I used to date a girl up in New York, and she lived up in New York City, and she watched Channel J and to describe it to me in great detail, or I would be out in L.A. just watching the weirdest crap. I watched a thing once out there called Rockets to Nowhere, where this guy funded this little film with his unemployment check, and it was brilliant. So we didn't get, this right now is, I think, I'm about to turn 13, and I believe we just got cable.
Oh, wow.
And I am, although it gets a little confusing because there's something I think I saw 3 years before they would have had to have cable. But yes, this is, so we're getting New York channels, and we're going to get to talk, 'cause this is Saturday night, so we're going to get to talk about one of my favorite New York channels, WOR. But we can go through what I'm watching first.
Yeah, let's go. What do you got in there?
Okay, first thing I'm going to watch an 8 p.m. Emergency. And normally I wouldn't watch Emergency. And by the way, the cartoon Emergency Plus 4, I think was more realistic than the show.
I love that there were lunch boxes for this show.
I knew kids that hung around, and not in a creepy way, with the like emergency squads. They would grow up to be firemen, paramedics, and all that, and they apprenticed at an early age. So Emergency Plus 4, there was no talking dog. It made sense to me. Okay, so this is the recap for this episode. Okay, Kelly and Gage make a disastrous attempt to repair the fire station's TV. Okay, I'm not sold. I could maybe learn some TV repair. Those of you who are living in the modern world, we used to have to repair our own TVs. Yeah. We have to take out these big tubes and replace them.
Those transformers have a huge jolt in them.
Yes, they do. The TV is basically a giant capacitor and will kill you.
Yeah.
I have a degree in electronic engineering, and will kill you.
Years later.
10 years. Yeah. 10 years after. Yeah, kids used to find them in the in the dump, and then the next day they'd be a headline on the page.
Yeah, I have these old ones back here, and I had to take the tubes out. I had to like discharge them, and these.
Yeah, you got to discharge. We used to have to discharge them all the time. There's that. Yeah. But here's the second part of this. Okay, so that's like, I'm guessing that's the A plot. The B plot, it's interchangeable, is Dr. Brackett suffers a toxic reaction to a catfish bite.
The bite, like that's what I was reading. I was like, maybe he ate it, but I'm like, a bite?
I maybe he's what they call noodling, where you put your hand down in the water and you try to grab inside the catfish's mouth. But I don't know why Dr. Brackett would do that. And I think I just have to see. This is like before there was chips, you went with emergency. Yeah. And I have to see this episode.
Like, what possible scenario was he in that happened?
I didn't go to 4 years of medical school to be Mr. Catfish Bite.
Right.
No, yeah.
Like, man.
I'm fascinated by how it happens, and if you've seen the episode, please, in the comments, let us know.
Maybe he becomes a were-catfish, like the blood water with Dr. Z.
I would pay to see that, yeah. How toxic can a catfish bite be? I had no idea.
I didn't know either. I've never heard of a toxic catfish bite in my life. Like, there's fish that are toxic. There's a bunch of them that can bite you. And
it's not fugu, It's not, it's not some chef has to cut it up.
Even a bluefish would have been better, but he would have had to go saltwater. Maybe that's why. He's a river fish.
This is, I think the Jaws had come out not long before. This is the best they could do. Yeah, we can't do shark legally. Spielberg will come in here and start yelling, what you got? Catfish. Well, what can we do with that?
In practices. I bet you guys do catfish. Okay.
Maybe it was near like a toxic chemical plant.
Oh, yeah, 3 Mile Island kind of
eating
thing.
Heavy metals, yeah.
That makes sense.
Like the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons.
Yeah, we're looking like a mercury-addled mutant catfish.
I think we've just written a better episode of Emergency.
We did too.
Yeah.
We can air it on that TV once they fix it.
And it turns out the toxic materials they extract from it are exactly what they needed to fix the TV.
Yes.
I mean, they wrap it up at the end, they're laughing, there's a freeze frame.
It's perfect. And then there's the diesel horn, as you pointed out before. You save $5 with this ad. So it's only $14.95 complete. An authentic tractor trailer horn, works on all 12-volt systems. Easy to install. So the idea being you have this in your regular car.
Yes. Yes, you have it. I saw these in the 70s. This is around the time of the CB radio craze.
Oh, yeah.
So if truckers have it, I want it. And that includes a lot of STDs.
Yes.
This is pretty much a way of announcing to lot lizards that you've got a disease. So it commands instant attention in emergency. So it calls back to the show Emergency. So yeah, you want to get to when a road emergency occurs, be ready. Yes.
And I love that it goes, amazing low price if you meet these special conditions.
Yes.
And then it doesn't really tell you what they are.
I think if you're ordering it, because on the other page is need a high school diploma, that's pretty much the special condition. Yeah.
You are a special condition.
You are a special condition, yes.
That is, this is also when Marvel Comics had the CB radio based comic book US 1.
Yes.
Which was really terrible.
Oh, there's a great film, Breaker, I think.
Oh, yeah, with Chuck Norris.
One with Chuck Norris. There's another film, a CB film. God, I wish I remember the name of it.
Do you know who plays Chuck Norris's brother in Breaker? I
just saw it recently on Riff Tracks. Who was it?
Jack Nance from Eraserhead.
Oh, Eraserhead. That's right, yeah.
So weird.
He had that haircut for so long.
But like, weirdest casting ever.
I can't remember the name. It might be Citizen Band or something, but there's like an actual serious... I think Tommy Lee Jones is in it, if I remember.
I'm remembering that too.
There's a fairly serious one that's actually really good. Breaker, other than Jack Nance.
Not a great flick.
No.
It's like someone went, I'd like to watch Over the Top if they took out all the arm wrestling.
Yeah. Jaws without the shark. Yeah. It makes it better. The conversations, I've always wanted to do that. Make Jaws without the shark, where they just sit in the boat and talk. Because to me, that's the most fascinating part.
Yeah, 100%. So you're watching that at 8, and then what do you got? What do you got at 9?
9 o'clock. They're showing Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
And it's the 1963 version. I'm going to watch this because I'm 12 years old. I am the demographic for this movie. Yes. I am going to go out, sharpen a stick, put a pig's head on it, and just have the time of my life. I tell you this much. if I'm 12 years old and I come across lore, and we're actually going to come across some stuff that I really did see live when it happened on TV. But if I'd spotted this, I'd have been in heaven. I'd have been like dancing in the street. I'm like, I get to watch Lord of the Flies. I would have made my sisters watch it with me.
I was so excited when I saw this movie. I read the book, but the fact that it, like, I was obsessed with post-apocalyptic, like, nuclear winter, post-nuke stuff. And this was like the first post-nuke story I ever read, because it's heavily implied that it's a nuke at the beginning, and it's more
it's a nuke at the beginning,
in the movie. And so I was expecting like more, like, basically mutant catfish, and I didn't get it.
It's the most, apart from The Omen, it's the most accurate portrayal of British children ever. Have you ever been to the Tower of London at 4 p.m? Yeah. They come in, you'll see these kids, and they've got like ties and jackets, and they're very proper little caps.
Yep.
They look like they're playing guitar in AC/DC. And then the teacher will walk out of the room, and they'll whip out penknives and start carving in the wall, because they're all hopped up on sugar. Here's some tea and some jam. Now just go mad. It's like a speedball.
Speaking of Coogan, there's a great like aside joke in an Alan Partridge when he's taking radio calls, and this woman's on the phone, and she goes, "Well, I think it's better than a little fat boy being killed with a rock." And he's like, "Today we're discussing Lord of the Flies versus Lord of the Dance. Which one's better?" Like, it's great.
The best Alan Partridge one is when he had a guy who was in a wheelchair, and he starts comparing him to Davros from the Daleks. Yes, that's really horrible. And you're like, well, it's the darkest humor.
Like, please stop. Don't know. I was kind of interested with this vaudeville show that's on. And so I
saw that, and then I wanted to hang myself.
Well, it's got Nancy Walker, who was Rhoda's mother, and the Palmolive lady.
And also Bounty. And I just want to say, for 1976 was not a quicker picker-upper of a year for Nancy Walker. I think Blansky's Beauties came out this year.
Did.
And disappeared very quickly with Scott Baio, who's now on our list of people to avoid.
Yes, he is. He blocked me on Twitter infamously back when I was still on it, because I said... I replied to him. He got in a big argument with me about something, and I replied to him, I don't think you're an asshole because you support Trump. I think you support Trump because you're an asshole. And he was like, bye. I was like, fuck off.
Every time somebody says fans of Scott Baio, I think, well, you mean Scott Baio.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, even at the time. And then Harvey Lembeck is the comedian on here.
Yes.
I was like, okay. But just the weird 70s obsession with like vaudeville, which was this like very short-lived kind of, there's a bunch of vaudeville shows on in like the mid-70s, and I don't know if it was just that nostalgia cycle or if they were like, look, variety's big, what do I understand? Vaudeville.
It's the nostalgia cycle. They weren't quite sure what to do. Around that time, you also had that touring thing with Mickey Rooney and Anne, what's her face? The woman who fell and broke her hair. They would go on tour, and it's like, it's vaudeville the way. But there was, in the 70s, they couldn't figure, they were still working on, at this point, which nostalgia they wanted. So you have Happy Days, it's the 50s. There had been a big Great Gatsby thing earlier, and then they split the difference at one point and had the Waltons.
Yeah.
So they still, there's no 40s nostalgia at this point, but they're still trying to work it out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it's 20-year cycles. We got it.
Yeah.
So I was.
Plus, what are you going to do with these old stars? A lot of these old stars still have agents that somebody owes a favor to. What do? We'll scrape them up and we'll throw them in this special, and maybe some of the old people will tune in and watch this.
Or we'll have disaster movies and made-for-TV movies we can put them in.
And kill them for real.
And it's after the Purview, but Miss USA is on this night. And, 70s Miss USA pageants are kind of amazing.
Do we want to talk about the picture in the ad?
Yeah, let's.
We have to address it, and I'm so sorry. You probably saw it too.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? The thing that I hate to say jumps out at you. There's a very bad instance of camel toe.
It's or very good, depending on your thoughts on those things.
There's no good. It's the outfit is hideously cut.
I guess it's a swimsuit.
Yeah. I guess
it's the worst cut swimsuit I've ever seen.
It is very poorly cut, and it's cut in a way that only her hairdresser knows for sure. Yeah. It's not good. And I remember, like, my family mocked everything, but like Miss America and Miss USA were our favorite things to mock. up until Vanessa Williams won and then got in trouble for doing nudes.
Yeah.
And my family were like, make her Miss America for life.
Yeah.
And we still do. We refer to her as Miss America to this day.
She was a damn good Miss America. Yeah, and it
Damn
was always
good, beautiful
confusing
one, yeah.
if you're like, I'm confused about Miss USA versus Miss America. And
yeah.
then there was the Mrs. USA pageants, which were married women.
Let's skip over Miss Teen USA because that comes up in some recently put out files.
That is true.
But yeah,
That
there's
is
a
true.
lot of there's have you ever read Harlan Ellison's Our Little Miss?
Yes.
So short. Yeah, it is one of my favorite short stories, and it's something again my mama turned me on to when I was young. This is an amazing short story about it was child beauty pageants before. Anybody was really calling them out, and this is what we used to do at this time. This is 1976. So single women, had only been allowed to get a credit card without a male cosigner for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years when this is happening. For 2 years, women have been enjoying being able to get a credit card. They couldn't buy a house. They could without a male cosigner. Either a father or a husband had to sign. So yeah, this is if you wonder where this hideous Burt Parks sort of stuff comes from. I think this split off. This might be the Burt Parks one that split off because they got in trouble with Miss USA.
Yeah, there was like rival. It was like rival versions of Lynyrd Skynyrd touring.
Crips versus Bloods.
Yeah,
this is gonna end in violence.
This is the Bob Barker one. This is like peak horny Bob Barker.
I like Bob Barker kind of, but yeah.
He managed to get out because there was like all kinds of tell-alls with him with all the, and then people were just like, eh.
There were tell-alls because he'd been very loyal to his wife their entire relationship, and then she died, and he was good-looking older man, and a lot of women, So I'm not, I've never heard anything, and one of the women was involved with a Kenny Rogers scandal that was I won't go into it because everybody's suing me anyway. if you want to sue me, you've got to get in line. So so
she was Bob Barker.
Now, I do want to move on to something here because I want to talk about what I'm going to watch late at night.
Yeah, sure.
If I can. All right, so do you want to... those are the two things that are rivaling Lord of the Flies, which are both very much like Lord of the Flies.
Very similar plots.
Particularly, The my name's not Miss Alabama, my name's Piggy. But anyway, so Elliot Gould is hosting Saturday Night Live that night.
Yeah.
If you got excited, I said Elliot Gould, not Dana Gould.
Yeah, this is season one of SNL. This is the back half of season one.
Yeah, so this is not, if I remember, a great episode. He does an okay job, but I don't care. I'm only up for one thing, and that because at 1 a.m., WOR will show Fright Night.
Yep.
This is the crucible in which I was formed. Totally forged in this. WOR, this night they're showing Dracula's Daughter, which is it's the only real sort of official sequel to Dracula. It's got lesbian overtones, which may interest a 12-year-old Rodney Anonmyous. I don't know. But it's an excellent film. I'm going to step and watch it. I am horror obsessed and have been since I was a child. Around Philly, we had a local horror movie host named Dr. Shock, who was amazing. And I grew up watching him. When I was 5, I went to see him at the King of Prussia Mall, and I think like 10,000 people showed up. I was just, my one job that I can do, the only job I'm qualified for is horror movie host. So I'm up at night watching this. But let me tell you something about WOR Fright Night. WOR came out of Secaucus, New Jersey. They would run ads for the weirdest off-Broadway plays you ever saw in your life. Well, Happy Birthday Gemini, which I recently found out was made into a movie and takes place here in South Philadelphia. I think like just a block or two they filmed near my home. But they would show that, and all I remember from that is somebody getting smacked in the head, so going, take human bites. Crazy Eddie commercials.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
His prices are insane.
And he committed so much fraud.
He did, and then Gary Heidnick, who the killer that we had in Philadelphia, the horrible person, the only thing he ever lost money on was Crazy Eddie, and he said during his divorce hearings, this should have been a window into his psyche. He was like, well, I just couldn't resist the name. But one of my favorite films is Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. So in 1973, on October 6th, this is the date I celebrate this day, I think I saw it here first, but they may have showed it later. Because I don't remember getting cable till now, so I would have been 10 when they first showed it. They showed Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things on Fright Night. I first saw Lamora, Lady Dracula, or Lamora, A Child's Account of the Supernatural.
Haunting.
that movie is so disturbing on
Yeah.
so many levels. Yeah, now you watch it with a different thing. You're like, does she have to be 14? That's
Yeah.
not. But that is so. Peeping Tom. I saw Peeping Tom at the age of 12 or 13. Like on here, and I was so like they would just show the best stuff, and I had when I saw this, I'm like, oh my god! I pulled it back up on YouTube just to watch the
arm?
intro. Yeah. Oh, no, that's Chiller.
That's Chiller,
Had
okay.
Chiller had the six-finger
Yeah.
arm that would come up. No, this is Fright Night. They would just show little snippets from old movies, like still shots. And one of the ones I pulled up was them saying, and tonight, a director leads a bunch of people to an island that, and children shouldn't play with dead things. I'm like, oh my god, I found the one for when they first showed children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in my Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things hoodie for this. But yes, that WOR, here I am, I'm 12 years old, probably since the age of 10. My parents would just let me stay up. They were just like, we can't argue with him. He's obsessed with horror.
Yeah.
Just let him stay up. Let him just never sleep. I didn't want to go outside and play sports. I just wanted to watch this
You
sort
and
of
me
stuff.
both, brother.
Yep. I am in heaven on this night because it is Dracula's Daughter. It's the sequel to Dracula, and even though I'm 12 years old, I know this. So
Yeah.
I'm really thrilled.
Well, I used to hit up the library and read all those hardback books
yeah.
about all that. Like they were, in hindsight now, they're so wrong most of the time because you couldn't
yeah.
research this stuff. But amazing movies that we saw just because they were cheap.
I'm going to take my camera and point it at this wall
Yes.
and show you what I have. That is the Vampirella poster I got when I was 9 years old.
That's a damn good shape.
Well, I've had it. It was rolled up and put away for a while, but people were like, "That's an inappropriate thing to give a 9-year-old." I think my parents were just. I didn't like sports. It's kind of slight. I think they were just happy I liked girls.
Yeah, that was what my dad was
but
like.
that has been with me, and I think every woman in my life has been bottled on Vampirella, but that has been with me forever. And that's how intensely, at the age of 9, I was so into horror. My parents were just like, let him have the Vampirella.
I have a bunch of Fred Hembeck drawings that he sent me, and he did a Vampirella for me. So,
I have some artists. It might be, is that a Hembeck? I have some artists who've done Vampirellas, and again, you can't kind of see those. I have to pick up the camera.
yeah.
I don't want to
I'll
mess with
send
the
you a
audio.
photo later of the Fred Hembeck
I should shoot you.
Vampirella.
Yeah. I should shoot you mine. See if we got the same. Yeah.
And this was around the time 276, 77. Like Hammer kept like threatening to make a Vampirella movie. They had like all kinds of like
They make one
photo
with Roger
shoots.
Daltrey. It's not good.
It's Jim Wynorski. It's not good. The lead looks right, but the movie's awful. The movie's real bad.
I've probably known in my life 2 or 3 dozen women that could have nailed that role.
Yes.
And it's just, but there's just so many. At one point, Julie Strain was up for it, who would have, I'm
She
sure,
would've
been
killed
great.
it, yeah.
It's so sad that it never got made.
And you couldn't now. Like even
You couldn't now because you can find a producer who isn't creepy enough. We have to really go through a large vetting process.
Yes.
So creeps out there, you ruined our
Creeps with
Vampirella
money.
movie.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I will say WR, and I forgot about this. Now that you mention it, with all the off-Broadway plays, as a little kid, that's where I saw TV ads for Little Shop of Horrors, the original
Yes.
pre-Broadway Little Shop of Horrors, and the commercials made it look amazing, and it was. But
It was amazing live. I know people saw it live up there. They had this, and there was 11 Alive,
Yes.
which unfortunately their logo looked a lot like the World Trade Center.
It certainly did. Yep.
Yeah. But these were the two that you were so excited about. Like, I would just park it on there and just like, I'm watching these New York stations. But yeah, they would have like I forgot about Little Shop of Horrors. All this like weird stuff would pop up. Pump Boys and Dinettes. We're the Pump Boys and we're the Dinettes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm having a Proustian moment right now. Or a stroke. You people at home are going to have to
often
decide.
somebody with the same thing.
Often
And I will point out that Don Kirshner's rock concert that night, just for fun.
I'm not watching that night.
You're not watching
I took a
Steppenwolf,
look.
Graham Central Station,
Yes.
and Emmylou Harris?
I'm not watching. I would be at a great loss if I did not thank Maury Schmeckman from Polydor Records. Yeah, I met Don Kirshner's son-in-law the same day that I had a conversation with Mike Nesmith. Mike Nesmith, of course,
Should have been your fucking face, he said to Don Kirshner.
I always claimed I'm like a huge Monkees fan,
Same.
and a friend of mine had been tour managing the Monkees. And so he was, unfortunately, Peter was ill at the time, so it was Mike and Mickey, and the Mike and Mickey show. And my friend's like, hey, listen, do you want to come see their sound check, because they have a VIP sound check. One of the funniest sound checks I ever saw. Mike is out there talking about Last Train to Clarksville. He's like, it didn't go over well because the first show was in Hawaii, and they don't have trains in Hawaii or islands. I'm like, they do have trains, but the audience is just like nodding their heads along, like this makes sense. And so I talked to what happens? We have a mutual friend, a guy named Cowboy Keith. I forgot about that. So my friend Dan is like, look, Mike wants to talk to you. Now our manager is trying to push Joe forward, and now I have to go and talk. And Mike pushes out a chair, and my knees completely lock up. I cannot sit down, and I think I'm about to shit myself.
Yeah.
And a few feet away is Mickey eating mashed potatoes. I'm like, it's watching the Statue of Liberty and the Liberty Bell eat their lunch. And so I'm talking to them about Mickey's old Moog modular they had. I'm trying not to make a fool out of myself, but I think I believe I went as soon as I got where there was a door between me and them, boom, I went right down.
Yeah.
I was just, to me, they were the most famous. I loved their show. So yeah, that is the I don't know how we got to the Monkees, but we got there, and I got to tell the story.
Yeah, because
Don Kirshner, yeah. Well, his son-in-law was doing sound. We were at the Troubadour, and he was doing. So I started to bring up the story about meeting Mike, and I thought, no, I better change that subject.
Wrong people. Yeah, it's
Wrong, yeah.
I've had Mickey on the show. It was super nice. We talked about like Metal Mickey and like the directing TV and stuff. And one of the great disappointments in my life is June 2020, I was supposed to moderate panels at Denver Comic-Con, and Nesmith was a guest, and I had the panel, and then COVID happened, and then he died. I was like,
that happened to us. Yeah, we got COVID. We had I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was a wee child, and probably one of the things that messed me up. And we have a Dungeons and Dragons module, and Mr. Simic, who did White Plume Mountain, put the I was just blown away. He put the little blurb on it. I'm like, oh my god! Now to the rest of my band, this means nothing. They. So I'm like, oh my! And we had what was probably the best Dungeons and Dragons game in history lined up for the game convention here in Philly, and COVID hit. Yeah. And my life, I'm like, why? Like every time something good is about to happen to me, something just craps on it. Yep. We have gone way off.
Yes, we have. We've gone into therapy talk, but it's necessary. Yeah. So Sunday, what do we got going on?
Okay, well, we talked about Channel 11. 11, Alive. I'm just going to spend Sunday night, I decided, watching Channel 11. Because I looked at my other options and wasn't crazy about them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good stuff on.
Well, yeah, but there's something. We're starting off with a winner here. Family Affair.
Yes.
Which I was too young at this point to know about the connection between Brian Keith and Peg Entwistle, which is creepy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, everybody's favorite skydiving instructor, Peg Entwistle. But here's what the plot is. Feeling a little insecure, Jody puts Uncle Bill's love to the test.
Gross. I know it's not
Mr.
gross.
David. Yeah.
But it sounds so gross. Mrs. Beasley.
It's not good. Yeah, Mrs. Beasley had to be turned away. Yeah. So that was, and then the next things I'm watching is a show called Equal Time. And this is stuff I would watch when I was a kid. And then there's Black Pride. Yep. These all looks like stuff I could watch and something. And I remember one of my earliest memories is like being maybe 3 or 4. And there was some like, round table talk show on, and they were talking about some kids that snuck into the back of a teacher's car because they had a bad home life, they want to ride home. And I just remember this angry old guy just saying, like, I would have had those children prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And I'm too young to understand it, but damn if it didn't wedge itself in my head. And then the last thing here is Focus on New Jersey. And it's just, it's got to be good.
Amazing.
It's like, they're basically talking about where the bodies are dumped.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I similarly used to listen to like the local talk radio in the Boston area, which was just old people complaining. And it was literally like an hour of, well, in those days, like for like a full hour without actually saying anything. And it's, same thing. I'm just like, this is.
We had a glorious thing in my hometown I grew up in called Phone Forum. And we would just, after a while, we would just call in and move the conversation along. Some woman called in, and go like, well, I lost my husband 2 years ago. And we call and go, the woman that lost her husband, she looked behind her sofa. Like the next 10 calls would be people like, we got to get people like that off the streets. Yeah, we would call them and we would say things to them like, oh, it's just, I had a problem out here and my, I called the department. I have a farm out here in Salisburyville, and we called the Department of Agriculture. They put me on the Department of Interior. Department of Interior put put me on the defense. And the host is just like, well, what was your problem? Finally, my wife was impregnated by Bigfoot. So yes, I love talk radio or anything like that you know from the very opening credits is going to go off the rails.
Of course.
Yes.
Back to cable access.
Yes, back to cable access. Thank you, Channel 11.
Yes.
11 alive.
So that's Sunday. Let's see if there's any weird...
I don't know what my options were.
There's a weird movie on at 1:35 in the morning, and it's a 1970 movie. I've never seen this, but it intrigued me.
I don't know how I missed it.
It's called The Man Who Wanted to Live Forever, and it says melodrama about an isolated research center that houses frightening experiments, and it's got Sandy Dennis, Burl Ives, and Stuart Whitman. I'd never heard of this, and I feel like I need to watch this now.
Burl Ives is scary in everything. He's scary in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh
He's
my God,
scary.
such a good villain.
Yeah, he is. He's like he is. You can just feel the evil come out of him. I didn't see that in there.
Yeah,
There's a couple of these I would love really to see it. It's rare that I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen them because usually every movie out there I've seen. So
yeah, this one I never even heard of.
That,
yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out because it's oddly contemporary for a 1:30 in the morning movie to have a movie that's only 6 years old. Like it's got to be extra crazy to have it on.
Burl Ives is experimenting making little no-neck monsters.
Yes. Monday, before we get to the prime time, there's a fantastic ad for the 4:30 movie, which is Return of the Giant Monsters. Monsters versus the World.
Did you see they have questions, by the way, on the side? I think I know the answers to all. This is how scary I am. I think I know the answers to all the trivia questions.
Oh, we'll ask them as we go through. Through the week.
If you find also one of the things that's happening on Sunday is Concord.
Yes.
Bird of prey or bird of paradise. Well, we found out they fall apart after a while.
Yep.
So that's.
Depends on who's on it.
It depends on who's on it. If you've got George Kennedy on it, George Kennedy will be there to make it better. Yep.
Monday, what are we doing?
Okay, Monday. Okay, so this is Monday night, and I've got one thing that I'm watching. It's from 8 to 10, 2 freaking hours long. It's The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. Dan Haggerty holds a special place in my heart.
Because of elves?
Well, not because of elves, but the Milkmen. For some reason, somebody told us that he appeared on an HBO, like that Cat House show, I believe it was called, or whatever. Yeah, I didn't know he had been on there. Apparently, he performed a wedding. My, how the mighty have fallen. I think the Bear had a better career, but Milkmen will occasionally give ourselves challenges just to keep our writing sharp. So we had a whole challenge. This will never see the light of day, but there's a hidden 4-track EP out there somewhere where we each wrote a track about Dan Haggerty. And mine was I did a lot of industrial and sampling. Mine wasn't. Dan, our bass player, was the winner because he had a song that had the lyrics, well, a man and a bear can't always get along. Sooner or later, something's bound to go wrong. And so, this is 2 hours of Dan. And the best thing in the ad, they keep pointing out, like spring premiere or whatever. Not a rerun. Yeah.
Fresh from your neighborhood movie theater. Yeah, so this was based on the movie. This was like the premiere. This is a mid-season replacement show. So this was the first season of Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, which is pretty much what brought Dan Haggerty to the world and is the reason we have so many Battle of the Network stars with Dan Haggerty taking stuff way too seriously. Yes, Dan Haggerty and Robert, the guy who put the battery on his shoulder. Oh, yes. They would take things way too seriously. Above, by the way, the Dan Haggerty ad, if you want to know who's going to be on Merv that night, it's the Bay City Roller. It sure is. So I think I just want to stick by my choice of watching. And the Grizzly Adams ad is so weird because it's him with a deer head, and the deer head does not look convincing. It's like the deer in Teenage Caveman, where they just took a stuffed deer. Yeah, this is like wilderness comedian. That is not a living. That's like one step away from a jackalope. Yes, it is. It is not good. The wilderness man who became a legend. That's not necessarily a good thing. It doesn't really intrigue me. Like, I never really got the premise. It's like a guy who lives in the woods. Great. I think what happened was if you couldn't put Jeremiah Johnson on, again, kind of a racist film in retrospect, and I say kind of, it's a lot. But Jeremiah Johnson
And you had like, all right, this is around this time you're beginning to get these sort of man versus nature. These one guy out, Billy Jack is coming out around this time. So it's what is on TV. It's maybe a reaction to around this time, like we talked about On the Rocks. You've got like Chico and the Man, Sanford and Son, stuff like Mayberry had been dropped. And there wasn't a lot for rural Americans to really cling to. And I think they're clinging to this guy in a fringe jacket.
It's like
who's not Sonny Bono.
post-hippie tough guys, though. It's like a weird...
It is.
like, evolution.
A lot of hippies were getting back to the land around that time. Yeah.
But mainly hippies. Also,
mainly
there's
hippies.
a fantastic ad on Monday on page 32 of the PDF for a special at 7:30 called Earthquakes, Warning Earthquake, and it's just like a really terrible pen and ink drawing that somebody local made.
Yes.
And it looks
on Channel 7.
Yeah, I'm like, how? So they said draw earthquakes, and this is what you came up with?
It's a guy looking over his shoulder, for those of you at home. There's a guy looking over his shoulder as the city crumbles behind him. But he looks like he just came out of a bar. He looks like what they used to, the way all alcoholics used to add. Yeah, it's not well drawn. It's like, oh, how'd that happen?
It looks like
I'm going back in the bar.
The next scene, if there was another panel of this, would be him taking a bottle in a brown paper bag and putting it in the garbage from what he just saw.
I
quit from that. Yeah.
Like, this is...
That'll get people to watch.
I know Channel 7 because of Oprah. I used to see an ad for Oprah doing a Satanic Panic thing on Channel 7. So
of course. Then we got a huge sweepstakes in here.
Yes.
The Shopper's Voice TV sponsors Double Your Money sweepstakes, the new home game where you can play at home and win up to $50,000, up to $100,000 in Double Your Money prizes. And it, I guess, is like a scratch-off mail-in kind of thing.
It seems kind of, I don't know how you could have scratched it off in the magazine.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. I tried to scratch it off on my screen.
It didn't work. The scratch and sniff didn't work, though, weirdly.
$100,000 in cash prizes is like 28 million in today's
easily.
money.
And it's the sponsor this week on it is Taster's Choice and Shout.
Yeah. It's an odd combination of things. I guess if you spill coffee on your clothes, the two of them can work together. My family heavily into coffee, so sometimes the instant coffee would be around just so we could scoop it into a thing, pour some stuff.
Make a bonus cup like the Descendants.
My dad used to say Taster's Choice was great for making Irish coffee, and I never doubted it.
Yeah, so, I'm sure, in a pinch. Yeah. And then there's a product called Rain Barrel, which I don't think is still around anymore, but it's washing stuff, I guess.
Yes, yeah, and it's weird. Again, it harkens back to a simpler time.
It's true.
When Grizzly Adams was washing his fringe jacket in a rain barrel.
And then I had a visceral flashback on the Glade, I guess you'd call them like, I don't know what that would even look like. It looks like a small shampoo bottle, and he took the cover. Like, I can smell this ad, and it's not nice.
It looks like a feminine hygiene project.
It really does.
It looks like when the boys got to go out and play kickball and the girls got a film, they had to see this thing. And it's because the way the guy's looking at it, he's completely... And it's got... Oh God, everybody looked like the person from the all-temperature Arrow ad back then.
This woman in the ad looks positively crazed. Like
she does look positively
absolutely unhinged about this Glade air freshener for whatever. It's got 45 holes. That's
and the guy looks like every actor you saw playing an Italian American.
Oh yeah,
in the 70s. He's on the Montefuscos that night. He's like the guest star.
It's a spicy meatball. I'm like different. Wrong ad.
Neighbor Jerry drops by with a new air freshener.
And the only one of these products that has a celebrity endorsement is the final product, and it's Alpo. And you got Lauren Green with his dog.
Oh yeah.
And this is like cool guy 70s Lauren Green with a huge butterfly collar and like a denim jacket.
One of the greatest things of all time is the Mad magazine from around this era, Betty White and Lauren Green doing a New Year's Day parade.
Yes.
And Lauren at one point wakes up and he's out of it. He's falling asleep and he goes, "What year is it? We're a hoss and Little Joe." So yeah, I remember they used to have these ads on TV. I like the fact he signed it. He's like, I remember he'd go like, "This is Rusty. Rusty's 14. That's 178 to you and me." I'm like, Lauren, you're 178 to you and me. Dead or Canadian, He's both.
Yes, which is why the episode of the Sweeps Week episode of SCTV where Eugene Levy's playing Lorne Greene doing songs is one of my favorite things ever. He only knows dirty limericks, and they're like, Lorne, please, I don't know that many songs.
Night of the Primetime Star.
Yes, fantastic. So then Monday we have a great ad for cigarettes that implies they're a good weight loss thing.
From what I understand, if you eat them.
Yeah, I'm a thinner. So
eventually she will lose a lot of weight.
She certainly will. All of it, in fact. So here's our first monster quiz. It's on Tuesday.
Okay, what's
Frankenstein Conquers the World, after Frankenstein grows to be 100 feet tall, what kind of monster cuts him down to size?
It's a kaiju.
It is.
Okay. You know the answer.
I don't. I know it's a kaiju, but I don't remember which one it is.
I think it's named Baragon.
Is it Baragon? Let's see.
Or Barago or Barago or something like that.
It doesn't say in the thing. People will write in. I love the description of the movie. It says Frankenstein Conquers the World, preposterous but entertaining hokum, mixing East-West horror.
It's the sequel. I mean the prequel to
War of the Colossal Beast.
The one with the words get caught in my throat.
Is it War of the Colossal War of the Gargantuous?
War of the Colossal Beast. Yeah, it's and this one they take Frankenstein's heart. They get it from Germany. They drop the A-bomb and War of the Colossal Beast is the sequel to this, and that has, of course, I say the words get stuck in my throat, which is one of the greatest scenes. I think they even, when they redid Scooby-Doo's back in the 90s, there's a Scooby-Doo that takes place within that sort of movie, and they go to a club, and the woman sings, the words get stuck in my throat.
Fantastic. So Tuesday, what are you doing?
Okay, so Tuesday, I have to pop over to my notes. I'm popping back and forth between you guys. Tuesday, okay, 8 o'clock, it's Happy Days.
Has to be.
Now, I doesn't have to be. I'm not a fan of Happy Days. My parents grew up in the 50s. They were dancers on Bandstand.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because Philly, right?
Yeah, during the Bob Horn era. My dad, his dying wish was he could have died with his hands around Dick Clark's neck. Because my parents loved like Little Richard, and my dad used to always say, my parents go, when we had Bob Horn, we had Little Richard. When we had Dick Clark, we had Pat Boone singing Little Richard. So my parents used to always say that the Happy Days, or at least the latter seasons, were not correct. In the early seasons, they have like stuff about race and about the bomb. But my parents said it was basically white only water fountains and sitting down in your basement waiting for them to drop the big one. But this is the synopsis for tonight. The police, not the band, the police,
No.
I guess the actual Milwaukee police, who we're learning a lot about these days,
Yes.
ask Fonzie to step completely out of character and talk to his gang, I guess it's his old gang, out of a scheduled rumble. I just like the term scheduled rumble. You know what I mean?
Rumble next week? Well, what time?
Are you good for Tuesday? Are you good? Yeah. And I just like it. I just like the fact that Henry Winkler got to stretch a little bit here in his acting and step out of character.
Pre-night shift.
I just love that. Step completely out of character and talk to his gang. If I remember the episode, it was his former gang. But yeah, my parents were not huge fans of Happy Days.
Have you ever seen footage of your parents on Bandstand?
Oh yeah, my parents. And my parents went back one time for a reunion show.
Oh wow!
Which I was watching live around this time when disco was big. And my dad goes, "Yeah, I was there 10 minutes," and some guy walks up and goes, "Alakazam!" and lights up like a flamethrower that he was going to use in his. I guess they were impressed that the original people were there. My dad's like, "Yeah, we're never going back." When my dad would have got his hands on that flamethrower, Dick Clark would have been toast. Yeah, it's one thing I had told somebody once. I often, when I'm in bars, I'll tell people stuff, and they'll often believe me. And I should have pitched this as an idea, but I told somebody once that when they brought on Pinky Tuscadero, because I was out in L.A. and we were going to go see Roz Kelly's bungalow, where she shot up her neighbor's car. And I have a lot of respect for Roz Kelly. And I told them that that TV was so big in my town that when they brought in Pinky Tuscadero, we had an assembly, and they brought in the president of the local ABC affiliate, and he said, kids, Fonzie's going to get a girlfriend, but it doesn't really change things. The Happy Days gang will still be there. And sure enough, I had like 6 people that believed me. So
it's how much you sell it. If you believe it when you're telling them, they'll buy it.
My wife gets mad at me because I'll say something and she'll buy into it and find out later on. But then I'll say something absolutely true and she doesn't believe me. So there's a dark side to that. So yeah.
Your boy who cried wolf in yourself into a...
Happy Days just kept sliding, and
Oh, well, they
eventually
stopped
nobody
pretending
cared.
it was in the 50s after a while.
Yeah, they just showed up with blow-dried hair and peasant skirts, and that's Chachi. Yeah.
When I had Donnie Most on, it was hilarious because he's the nicest dude. And he was talking about when he quit the show, and he's like, yeah, well, like the scripts were just like bullshit. Like he was just like,
Yeah.
and he said Ron Howard reminded him that apparently Donnie Most is the first person who complained about the jumping the shark. He's like, Donnie, you coined it. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, you came in with the script and you were like, what is this bullshit?
The irony is that TV Guide bought the website off the shark.
Yeah.
Which explains. I think they wanted it to go away.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I just remember that somebody convinced my younger sister. Maybe why I'm so interested in just convincingly fibbing to people. But somebody convinced my younger sister when Fonzie did the first jump that somebody stole his landing ramp, and I was like, why would you believe? Just that I remember, like, why
Very
would you
specific.
believe that? Yeah, like how would they? I think she got mad at the person for convincing her later. Like how? Why would you think? Yeah.
When you were growing up, was it common knowledge that TV Guide was a Philly-based company?
No, it wasn't. Well, first of all, we didn't read TV Guide. We would get the Philadelphia Inquirer, and they had a thing called TV Time. Mm-hmm. And TV Time was the shit. It was the letter section was 10 times more insane. At one point, there was this back and forth going on between fans of Elvis and fans of the Beatles. Of course. As to people would say, yeah, sure, the Beatles took drugs, but they wrote good songs on drugs. All Elvis ever did was kill himself. And then my friend Steve, who's now my brother-in-law, when we were young, we used to get a kick out of the fact that people in our area didn't understand the difference between a network and an affiliate.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd be like, I am so mad at Channel 6, meaning like ABC. And yeah, it was, and also the reviews were great because the two stick out in my head where one was called Taste the Blood of Dracula, and the review was, no thanks, I had blood for brunch. And the other one was Kiss the Blood Off My Hands, and the review was, ew. So for years after that, I would enthrall my nieces by telling them there was a movie called Eat the Bloody Face of Frankenstein. Yeah.
And the review is, nah, I'm full.
Yeah, yes, I'll pass.
And to be honest,
not without ketchup.
Taste the Blood of Dracula, probably worth skipping.
Yeah.
Not the greatest Hammer movie.
I would watch any Hammer as a kid, but that's a whole other story. Yeah.
You've passed up Rich Little's variety special where
Bill Bixby and
Mel
Little.
Torme are guests. I hate Rich Little.
I hate him so much.
He only does Nixon.
God.
Every impression is Nixon.
Remember that show, The Copycats? I don't know if you remember. They had a show called The Copycats.
Him and Fred Travalena, right?
Yeah, I saw something once recently where I think it was a Saturday Night Live sketch where they had like Rich Little on like Match Game, like, well, I think Johnny Carson would stay like this, like stop now. Yeah, I don't get that. He's not rearranging his DNA or anything. No. He looks exactly like himself. He's playing in Vegas, and you're thinking, Siegfried and Roy could have spared a tiger to attack him. Yeah, I'm glad I missed this.
It is not great. And Fred Travalena, famously, there was a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, I think in 89 or 90 when Batman came out, and he plays the Joker in the parade for some reason, doing a Jack Nicholson impression.
Poor Fred.
Poor Fred.
His Jay Leno impersonation, dead on.
Oh yeah,
so I give him that. Yeah.
And I also, speaking of Chris Elliott, his Jay Leno, not accurate but hilarious.
But hilarious, yes.
What's my beef? What are my beef is? I'll tell you my beef. Yeah.
Kind of sad I didn't get a life when that was on.
Oh, I love that show so much. Yeah. That I rewatch that frequently and very much love it. So all right, so you did Happy Days against your will.
Against my will, yeah.
And then for 8:30, are you sticking with the Gary Marshall?
I've got an hour and a half to kill.
Okay.
I'm going to watch Merv Griffin.
Okay.
Because and I actually saw this episode.
This is a cool one.
I saw this episode. No, it isn't. There's something horrifying happens in this episode, and if one of your readers one of your listeners can find, or in this case viewers, because YouTube also can find this episode, you can back me on this. I don't. Okay, so what happens is now let me tell you folks first of all what the synopsis is. Pets, and when I say pets, I'm talking pets provided by PR people. Pets accompany their celebrity, again, celebrity, the broadest possible sense, owners for the Hollywood premiere of Wonton Ton, the dog who saved Hollywood. They use Hollywood twice.
The movie no one remembers.
If you do remember it, I feel bad for you.
Is it a play on Rin Tin Tin? Wonton Tin?
Yes, it's a play on Rin Tin Tin. It's a terrible. I think Madeline Kahn's in it. It's just a bad film. It's again, they're playing with nostalgia at this point. So like maybe silent movie era stuff will work. But it's Phil Silvers is dropping by. He's in the movie. It's got Chuck Heston's coming by. Bruce Dern. I don't know what Bruce Dern's pet is. I'm not quite sure I ever want to know. This is Mr. Tickles, my squid. Valerie Perrine, who this is why I'm watching.
Sure.
As 12-year-old, yeah. But Glenn Ford. But the thing is, I saw this, and something is seared into my memory, and I'm not making this up. Hopefully, somebody can find the footage. They had put a bunch of old silent movie actors in the movie. I believe some of like the last Keystone Cops or whatever were in it. I'm not quite sure, but they had this old gentleman. Oh, this hurts. This story hurts. People, gird your loins right now. So they had this old gentleman, and he's like, I got one line in the movie. I think I point and say, there he is. They probably cut it. And then he says, they say, oh, who are you here with? He goes, I'm here with my granddaughter because my wife left me. It is, and they left it in. Perfect. Because, compared to the other stuff on Merv Griffin, Merv Griffin would air. They used to air it on like Channel 48 where I lived a lot, and then they would have these viewer mail things that they had obviously changed. Like Merv is fantastic and the orchestra is great. But we used to hate watch a lot of stuff. I don't have time to go, but there was a show called Al Albert Showcase that spawned Tim and Eric. Tim and Eric were huge fans of this local show, and my father would hate watch it regularly. But yeah, we would hate watch. That's how we learned to hate watch from that show.
It taught a whole generation to hate watch. Well, the thing
it did. Tim and Eric based their whole career on it. I
don't doubt it.
Al Albert at one point there was a record that came out sold well. It was A Canadian Sticks Up for America or something like that. And Al Albert's made an album called I Am a Sick American, and I've sampled it and I play it all the time in rehearsal. And the band gets mad at me. I'll play it backwards. I'll slow it down. I'll put I put all these other samples in there. It's really good.
See, I was mostly intrigued by knowing what pets Billy Barty and George Jessel had.
Yes, yeah, and here's the thing, like what happened here. There was a PR agent, and first of all, a lot of these premieres at the time, you would go in and you go right out the back. Chuck Heston's not going to stick around for this. He's got people to shoot. Yeah. So what happens is they would go in and out, and I'm sure they would go, okay, here's your Shih Tzu. You got a Shih Tzu now. So whatever they gave Billy Barty was probably not his pet. It was something they probably thought would be funny.
It's probably like a Great Dane or something like that.
Yeah, Great Dane. Like, isn't this funny? A little person with a big dog. Isn't this funny? Your whole family's dead.
Oh boy. Yeah, that sounds horrific. We'll try to dig that one up. Anything else on Tuesday? Oh, so that's 90 minutes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 90 minutes it takes up, Yeah,
I forget
90 minutes
that those
of my
shows
life
90 minutes.
as a 12-year-old was spent watching that.
But well worth it, because you remember it to this day. And, that might come up. So
I wake up screaming a lot. I have to sleep with the lights on.
There's also a thing on at 10 o'clock called 4 New Comedies. Alan King presents Love, Life, Liberty, and Lunch. I've never heard of this, but it's Alan Arkin, Alan King, Zero Mostel, Cyril Richard, Dick Shawn, and Peter Ustinov. So it's what that what do you call it? That photo shoot at the beginning of the TV Guide was promoting.
The minute I saw Alan King in comedy, I was like,
oh, he's just a mobster. Like he infamously would steal jokes. Like he would go up to people and be like, "Oh, that bit you did, it's mine now," and they'd be like, "Okay." Like he was just
steal jokes at gunpoint.
Yeah, he was such a mobbed up.
At least Carlos Mencia was stealthy.
That's right. Alan King, like the vision of him I have is his character in Quitters Inc.
Like, yes, exactly.
That's Alan King.
He studied for years.
We're gonna cut your wife's little finger off. Let's see. Where is I'm looking for the Wednesday. Oh, there's no Wednesday trivia question.
Well, that's Wednesday. It's hump day.
Yeah,
you can't have.
That's true.
Instead, but it's this Wednesday. It's this Tuesday. On Tuesday, there was a after school special.
Yes,
I love those.
This one is about. Is it about a computer dating service? Dear Lovey Heart, I am desperate.
No. It was about an advice columnist.
Excellent.
I watched every after school special.
Do you have a favorite?
That's why I'm so well grounded today. Yeah.
Is there an all-time favorite?
All-time favorite would probably be the cosmic awareness of Doogie, I forget what the kid's name is. He's got a pet crow.
Oh yeah, and then he ends up
Yeah.
being an alien or something at the end.
Yeah, and it's got Jerry Van Dyke in it,
Yeah.
who had an open marriage. I think Jerry. No, Orson Bean. Orson Bean's in it. Orson Bean
Yes.
had an open
Oh
marriage.
yeah. I mean, we all sought to tell the truth. I think we all knew.
Yeah,
It was pretty obvious.
It's in Orson Bean's autobiography, people. So Orson Bean, well, if he's still alive, he's going to sue me too.
I don't think he is. I think he's dead. I think he died right after being John Malkovich.
I get sued by the estates of a lot of dead people.
Really?
And I always just imagine, because I have no control over my mouth. That's why I don't normally do interviews. I don't do any music interviews. I'll badmouth other musicians, and even if they're dead, I get to hear from their estate. So yeah.
But it's like it's not libel if it's true.
No, it's in his autobiography. He told his wife, he goes, he's like, I like steak, but every now and then I want lobster. So then she goes out and she has like a fling, which is allowed by him,
that's Hollywood.
like a one night thing. And then she comes home. He goes, "How was it?" She goes, "It was good steak, but I really want lobster." And I'm thinking, they let him voice Bilbo Baggins.
Maybe that's why he was Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
It was
true.
Ralph Bakshi, wasn't it? Who did that?
Yeah, it was the Ralph Baskin.
So
I think it's the Baskin Bilbo or the Rankin Bass one.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was,
the Rankin Bass,
he
yeah.
done the road.
Because
gives-
Bakshi would make sense if he's like, he's a Brooklyn
Yeah,
guy.
that would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
You could
Felix the
also
cat.
buy a famous 8.5-inch hunting knife to go
Yes,
with your
I saw that.
air horn. How much is this?
Yes.
I'm curious how much. This
Think how long you can hold the cops at bay with that.
so this literally cost the same price, $14.95,
Yes.
as the air horn. So if you got $15, it's a real Sophie's choice here.
It's the G96 Titan Folding Sportsman,
Yes.
which is also the condoms that I use. I have an unusual thing
It
going
has
on.
this
Yeah.
clearly made up metal, molybdendium.
Yes. Yes.
Molybdendium? Is that what you would say? Razor sharp molybdendium steel.
They make it in Wakanda.
Yes, it's made in Wakanda. Its bones are lined in Canadians. I'm like, that is the most made up. That doesn't even sound like a real thing.
And I'm sure somebody actually, when they wanted to pass it on, they left it in their will, and they're like, it's made of molybdendium.
Pure molybdendium. Whoa.
Molybdendium, yeah.
Do you know what the street value of this molybdendium is? Oh, man.
And it comes with a little holster.
It does,
too.
yeah. A free
Yes,
top grain cowhide pistol sheath.
Chief Hope.
That's a condom.
That is, I think, the same thing.
Cowhide pistol sheath.
Ribbed for her pleasure. Yeah.
It does sound like something a really old man who was like in World War I would call condoms pistol sheaths.
Would definitely, yeah. Male, no risk coupon. It's a no risk coupon today.
It's guaranteed for life. What they do is when it breaks, they kill you.
Stamford, Connecticut, which is where Springer came out of. So I think we solved a mystery right there.
Yeah, man. So what did you pick something for 8 on Wednesday?
Okay, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I'm watching Little House on the Prairie, and I don't like Little House on the
hate
Prairie.
Little House so much.
A National Lampoon once, when I was about this age, put out, because we were reading National Lampoon before Animal House. After Animal House, it was not the same thing. Everybody picked everybody out of it, but they put out a newspaper parody, and the newspaper parody had a whole TV guide section, like TV Times section, and they had a thing called Little House on the Ditch. And the description was, they all go blind and bleed out their ears. And it is, it wasn't until I was in L.A. First of all, the description, I'll give you the description of this episode, the synopsis is, Laura and widow Grace Snyder resort to the old make 'em jealous, blah, 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 some bullshit, spring dance. It's not, I'm not going to watch it, but I'm just going to watch it to mock it. But I was in L.A. once, and I was hungover. Really, really horribly hungover. I was so hungover I couldn't move, and a bunch of my friends were hanging out. And we eventually went to like a gun range to fire 90s to get rid of the hangover. And so remember, folks, all liberals are armed. We're all strapped. But I remember I couldn't move, and the plot was there was this. A guy who was like an alcoholic. He got hooked on cough syrup and stuff, and then there was this kid that he gave a ride to on the buckboard, and the kid wound up losing his leg, and then the kid became like a methadone addict or something. And I'm not making this up. This is so. Yeah, Little House on the Prairie is real upbeat stuff. So that's what I'm going to watch then. But I'm going to watch it again. This is like a begrudging begrudging watch. I know there's other stuff on that looked interesting, so I had some choices this night.
Yeah, because you got Bionic Woman, which is not a repeat. Richard Anderson's in this episode. You got Crosswits, the game show with Betty White and Leslie Nielsen. This is a weird era for Leslie Nielsen because it's pre-Police Squad, post what's the sci-fi movie that he's in with the very...
He's post...
Forbidden Planet.
He's post...
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah. He's post Forbidden Planet. He's narrating some stuff. I saw his name pop up narrating like a nature documentary and some
So he's
stuff.
like still serious Leslie Nielsen. So like that's just an interesting thing to see him in.
What was the Barbra Streisand film where he plays a really creepy character?
Oh, yes. I can't think of the name now.
Prince of Tides? Maybe? I don't know.
He was good when he took it seriously. And then you got Chico and the Man as well on that evening. Jack Albertson from Revere, Massachusetts, and also in one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Dead and Buried.
Okay, here's the thing. Dead and Buried is a great film. It's super disturbing. Yeah. It was on HBO a lot when I was a kid, and when it popped up again on Shudder, I was like, oh my gosh, tell my wife, you gotta watch it, because that whole thing where they tap the guy.
Yeah, oh God.
But here's the thing. Okay, so I'm watching, at 8, I'm watching Wilds of Prairie. Same channel. At 9:30 comes Chico and the Man. There's nothing there for 9 o'clock.
No.
Little House of the Prairie, there's like an hour of lost time there.
Yeah, like
I don't know what's going on.
It was like a special, you needed like a password to actually watch whatever they had on there. It probably, I suspect, they didn't have the listing in time, or it's just like a mistake, but it's
or a
weird.
Page got left out, something, or an ad for knives and air horns.
Yes, knives and air horns in there. It's very strange.
Chico and the Man, by the way, this episode, I'm not that interested. I'm going to watch it, but one of the guys, Ed or something, finds out that this silent film actress, probably from the variety show, is working as a waitress, or is one of the members of the band, the Waitresses. I didn't follow it that far.
Yeah, this is a silent film actress, played by an actual silent film actress, Carmel Myers. One of his long-standing idols is starting a new career as a local waitress.
You know she's in Wonton Ton.
Of course.
Pointing and saying, there he is. Yeah.
And her line gets cut. Very odd. It's Starsky and Hutch is on at 10. A show that I feel like I should bring up because I was completely wrong about it as a kid. I've come around to it as an adult. It's hilarious on purpose. And there's some amazing Halloween episodes.
Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah.
I remember one area where they drug Hutch and they put him in the cages at the LA Zoo. And I was fascinated for years by the LA Zoo after they held Hutch there. Yeah, it's quite an interesting show.
It's two-parter Satanist one. And the best one, you'll love this, the John Saxon one. John Saxon plays a vampire. And not a guy who thinks he's a vampire. A vampire. And it's directed by the guy who directed Count Yorga Vampire. And the only two things that guy directed are Count Yorga Vampire and this episode of Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch. Count Yorga actually popped up at one point. I think they're showing it in this, because I went past it. I thought, but it's outside of prime time. Yeah, Count Yorga, the cat eating scene in that. That is a film little kids don't sleep after they see.
The guy had
Starsky and Hutch.
He's like, I do vampire things in the 70s.
Starsky and Hutch is like chips, something I didn't appreciate until later in life. My friend Matt always says, he goes, the two words that guarantee entertainment, Officer Poncherello.
Well, the punk rock episode is one of the greatest of all time.
Oh my God, with Susan Richardson from my hometown of Coatesville, Pennsylvania. She plays Snow Pink. I've talked a lot about that episode to friends of mine until they kind of glaze over. But she unfortunately had some mental issues and believed that she was being, there was an attempt to kidnap her and take her to North Korea, which wasn't true. She appeared on Sally Jesse Raphael with this, but she's still in my hometown. She's back in my hometown, and I wish her the best. I will say nothing. I won't make fun of her. I'll make fun of the rest of the cast if it is enough, but not her.
Not her. She's fine. There's also a thing at 10 o'clock that on Channel 31 called Urban Challenge, and it says the Italian American community in New York is examined.
Yeah, I'm married to an Italian American, so I didn't want to bring this up.
Why is it called Urban Challenge? Like it's like Mutual of Omaha's Wild America or something. Yeah.
Oh, Italians explain just what the hell they're doing, and you know they're saying Italians.
Of course,
of course.
The laziest racial slur of all time.
Yes, you know that they're
Man, Thursday, what are you doing?
Okay, so on Thursday night, I am going to watch The Waltons. Now, Not a fan. Again, not a fan. Although I am a fan of Richard Thomas, who is an amazing guy. I've never heard any bad stories about Richard Thomas. And also Will Greer, who was a communist, who plays Grandpa and was blacklisted. Will Greer and John Ritter got on the show at one point, and they would just drink. They would drink, and they would go down to the watering hole naked. They did not care. They would swim naked. They had... There are all these outtakes that supposedly exist out there with them saying things like, now, John Boy, you be good and put your pants back on. But my mother, I became a lyricist because a lot of shows back then, the theme song didn't have words. And my mom felt it was her job to put words to them. So the thing I remember about the theme song from this that my mom had done was, now John Boy's John Man, and the sheep are afraid. He was caught on the lamb in the back of a cave. And that's what there was more. But I would go to school and sing this to the other kids, thinking this is true. And then they would go home and sing it to their parents. And then they would come to school the next day and go, I'm not allowed to play with you anymore. Like, for real, this happened a lot. But yeah, my mom would make up, and I think how I became a lyricist was just making up. We would sit around and make up lyric songs. In this episode, Olivia thinks she's pregnant, but no, it's menopause. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I remember watching this one, and I remember the bedside manner of the local doctor is like, Olivia, you're no spring chicken anymore. Like what? Yeah, what horrible, yeah, because out behind the barn with
what
you.
What great family viewing menopause disappointment.
It is. The Waltons had a lot of weird episodes. My family had once gone up to Walton's Mountain. There's a movie, Clayton's Mountain. I think Spencer's Mountain. I think the real last name was like Clayton or something like that. But we went up there once, and for some reason, my father thought there would be friendly people in the mountains of West Virginia.
Because of the Waltons?
And he'd seen Deliverance. That's because of the Waltons. Yeah. And so like we went into this, like we literally went into like a general store where a guy was cleaning a shotgun. And I'm like, I'm young. I'm about around this time. And I'm like, we are going to die. We are going to be murdered. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite theme song that you wrote lyrics to personally?
Personally, Entertainment Tonight. I used to, my friends still do it. Entertainment for fish. This is TV with fins. It's just something I used to do that. I used to live in an apartment with a lot of people who lived around me, and they would come over, and we would just constantly put. I would do that a lot. I've been doing it since I was a kid. So every now and then I'll watch something on. I'll be singing in my head like my theme song.
There's the next hidden EP. We need your Rodney's theme songs.
I should put that out.
Songs.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite theme song, like without like just a favorite in general?
Like a favorite with
that you didn't have to customize.
The thing I would never touch that theme from Futurama.
That is really good.
That Futurama theme is perfect. Yes. I mean that is one of my favorite things of all time. And then there's some weird stuff out there. The Star Lost.
Oh, Star Lost! Oh my God, is great.
The Star Lost theme is the show is terrible, and Harlan Ellison's ghost will kneecap me for talking about it. But that theme to the Star, anything back then with like a synth in it, the Rockford Files theme, another one. I wouldn't mess with Jim Rockford. I don't know.
The speaking of George Jessel, who was in that episode with the pets, Billy West told me Zoidberg's voice is George Jessel. Is him doing a George Jessel impersonation.
That totally makes sense. Yes.
Yep.
Now
it's like perfect.
I gotta wonder what pet they gave George.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking squid because it was Zoidberg, but I'm like, got a mental block
you want it to be something exotic.
Yeah, I'm thinking
parrot, like Siamese fighting fish or something.
Speaking of fighting fish, and as you pointed out earlier, Jaws was the summer before this. Mm-hmm. So there's a made-for-TV movie for another Jaws ripoff called Shark Kill.
But who is fighting the shark? What is he called? Because this one stopped me in my tracks when I saw it.
Shark Kill, a 1976 TV movie, pits two men against a great white shark. Vengeance and a $10,000 bounty motivate a marine biologist and a commercial diver to join forces and hunt down a 15-foot man-eater before it can strike again. Richard Inguez plays Cabo. Philip Clark plays Rick, and Jennifer Warren as Karen.
Okay. But the ad is disturbing.
It is.
Because the ad says, and people, don't put this on me. It says, Hunting the Great White Shark, a matter of personal revenge for the Chicano and his scientist friend. It actually says the Chicano and his scientist friend. First of all, the Chicano is prejudiced because he thinks of him as scientist friend and not his friend. No. Yeah, I that one stopped me in my track. And I'm like, what? Maybe is it his nickname? And it's
also the weird thing too. It says, and they have a brand new way to kill it.
Yeah.
Like what? The Chicano way.
Yeah, because that's true. If you, who brings a knife to a shark fight? That's the
well, what's that? What kind of metal is that knife made out of?
Yeah, who? They can't. We know they can't shove like a air tank into it and blow it up.
Can't have a zombie kill it.
They're going to hear from Spielberg.
We have
I'm guessing it's ennui.
Yes,
they just make it so sad that
it's going to die from embarrassment based on what these two guys look like.
I like the fact it's personal revenge.
Yeah. And it says new for spring, not a rerun.
How would you locate the shark that ate your friend? How would you know? I mean, with Captain Ahab, it's a great white whale. Can't be that many of them out there. But yeah, there's a lot going on here.
There's David Huddleston plays a character named Beardy. Who wrote this movie? The Chicano and Beardy and
it's like somebody took some Mad Libs and wrote a movie. Shark.
Are you gonna put a real name in later? No, don't get to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then a made-for-TV movie that sounds pretty fascinating with Joanna Pritet called The Dark Side of Innocence.
It's not that good. I think my family had tuned in. I'm off watching The Streets of San Francisco, but my family had tuned in to this one, and it's just she gets divorced. Her kids don't want. She gets bored and divorced, and then her kids don't want. Her little daughters don't want to talk to her,
boring.
and then her mom questions her marriage. It's not. The title sounds really
good. The picture looks
good, and Joanna Pritt looks really good. But this is not as exciting as you think.
The Barney Miller episode that night is the one with the sniper.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh, every Barney Miller is a good one. The one where they eat the hash brownies. Yeah. I'm watching The Streets of San Francisco because the Michael Douglas character is from my hometown of Coatesville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's an episode where they say, suppose I ask you where you're from. It says, suppose I say back east. Suppose I say where back east. Suppose I say Coatesville, Pennsylvania. And that show instantly endeared. Now, tonight on it, though, street warfare threatens to erupt after the knifing of a teenage gang member. So I think this is the sequel to the Fonzie episode.
If Fonzie had talked to them.
Bring in Fonzie. That would be really good.
Carl Malden could have hired Fonzie. And then speaking of models, we got a Barbizon School of Modeling ad here in New York City.
Be a model or look like one. These things are always incredibly shady.
Oh, yes.
I know a lot of girls that did that. They paid for headshots and stuff like that. And then if you think America's Next Top Model is shady, this is extremely shady. And then and now we know, considering what we know now about the guy in charge of taking all the photos of kids for yearbooks and everything, and just regularly, this makes this even a little more.
Have you read Model Land, Tyra Banks' book?
Oh my God, the one with the blood oranges. I'm Tukey. We watched the I'm Tukey episode, and for a while I go around going, I'm Tukey, and so is my wife. Yes, everything smells like blood oranges in Model Land.
Bonkers.
Yes.
Bonkers.
I haven't read it. I've listened to all the live readings.
Yeah, it's something else. And she's a great follow on Instagram. She's always hawking her weird ice cream flavors, Tyra Banks. They're very strange. The posts where you're like, do I need to call someone about her? Is she okay? And you're like,
it's Ben and Jerry, but if Jerry was like Ben's imaginary friend, you know what I mean? Yeah, she's not okay.
No. Is that everything on Thursday? We're on a Friday?
That's everything on Thursday. I'm watching Streets of... So I'm only watching two things. I'm watching the Waltons from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10, it's Streets of San Francisco.
We got a monster movie quiz on Friday here. And this isn't really a monster movie, so I'm kind of... But fair enough. In Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs, directed by Mario Bava, Vincent Price tries to conquer the world by making live bombs. Who causes his plans to blow up in his face?
Frankie Avalon.
Indeed it is.
I don't even have to look that one up. I wouldn't have to look it up. I wouldn't even have to go. Frankie Avalon, is one of his finest
It truly
roles.
is.
Let's put
It truly is.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. What's the one, Sergeant Deadhead or something like that, where he plays two roles?
Oh, yeah.
And he can barely handle one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Frankie
fine
Avalon popped
film.
up in some weird ass Euro spy movies in the late 60s.
I love the Pee Wee Christmas special
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're making
The potato stamps.
Make cards. Yeah. Make the cards.
He lived in the North End of Boston for years. I don't think he's dead yet. But like people would see him though. Like I saw Frankie Avalon, like a half dead 95-year-old Frankie Avalon sightings.
I always would picture him in Malibu.
Yeah.
I can't picture him on the East Coast.
He's a real East Coast guy. And I own a bunch of Annette Funicello's personal artifacts that they auctioned off after she died. I have all of her promo materials from Back to the Beach.
Oh, Back to the Beach is a great film where he gets to say, what is a kahuna and is it good to have a big one? And Pee Wee's in that one too.
That movie's very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
So Friday at 8, what are we doing?
Oh, I just want to point out, this is Friday,
Yes.
May 21st, 1976.
13?
I am 13 years old.
Now a man.
Today I am a man. Yeah, I can't have a bar mitzvah because my family hasn't been Jewish since the 1600s. But if you meet me, you can see those genes are still there. But okay, at 8 p.m., and I've seen this episode, I'm watching Sanford and Son because it's the Steinberg and Son episode. Now, a lot of people don't know Sanford and Son was based on a British TV show. And in this, they acknowledge that. But in this episode, they also make fun of Red Fox at his own expense. The guy who was the star of Steinberg and Son starts giving the demands that Red Fox was actually giving.
Yeah.
Like he wanted a golf cart to take him, to the set and back from his dressing room and all that. So yeah, this is just about any episode. I regularly quote, you and Julio can go into business together. As Julio and Dan Fulio. My friend Dan Mapp is obsessed with chicken suits in sitcoms. He's like, Pop, you can't go outside with that chicken suit on. So it's just, Benson, don't put on a chicken suit and get out. No, Krause.
Do you remember who plays Murray Steinberg in this?
Is it the guy from A Time to Make the Donuts guy?
It's John Larroquette.
Oh no. John Larroquette, the man who is the voice of the intro to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they gave him a bottle and $50 and said, "Can you imitate Orson Welles?" Yeah.
And 4 years later,
Wow.
he's on Sanford
And
Son.
he's cleaned up.
Yes.
And somebody, and the only one from Night Court to survive.
I know. The tallest cast in history. Oh, Marshall Warfield's still around. But just him and Marshall Warfield, yeah.
Weird.
Do you remember what you did on your birthday this year? Do you remember
13.
how you celebrated?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. Like you think I would remember what I did on my 13th? To me, I don't want to say it was just another day. Maybe it's me and some of my friends played Dungeons and Dragons, got together. I literally do not remember what I did on. Obviously, I didn't have a bar mitzvah, but not quite. Yeah, not quite. Genetically, I could have probably just got in, But
do you do a thing? Is there a thing you do for your birthday like every year as an adult?
every year I watch. I'm wearing the Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Every year on my birthday, I watch Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Dean has the same birthday as I do, although Dean's birthday falls exactly on Jeffrey Dahmer's birthday, which should ruin any. Dean's our drummer. That should ruin any thoughts that you folks have about astrology being correct. Because I've never seen him, go to Five Guys and go, there aren't five guys in this. But
He's never home.
Yeah. But I've looked in his fridge. There's nothing in there. But So on my birthday every year, I watch Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I celebrate my birthday the whole month of May. My wife was not a big birthday person till recently, but I declare May is my birthday month, and I celebrate the entire month. And when we get to my birthday, I damn sight better do something special, and I better wind up at the end of the night with either a lot of wine or beer in me, and watching Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. I can turn the sound down and do. I'm so happy Shudder started showing it. So no, turn on Shudder, and it'll be Shudder TV, and I'll think people are seeing Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. So yes, to bring it back to WOR and all that, that is what I do on my birthday. I like to occasionally maybe go out and depending on what day it falls on, go out and have a meal or whatever. But yeah, or if there's a band playing that night and I want to say I'm super happy. IMX, one of my favorite bands, played on my birthday a few years back. I'm like, yeah. So every now and then everything works out. And I do have a buddy who lives down in Foggy Bottom here, and he every time we see him, he says, "Oh, it's my birthday. Can you buy me a beer?" And we've been falling for this now for about 40 years. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's your birthday last month. What? Yeah. So that's what I.
every
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I'm like. It sounds like I'm not a big birthday person, but I'm like, okay, May. It's my birthday month.
Oh yeah, I'm like that with June. A
Yeah.
whole month. That's my yeah. It's like you got to. So you doing? There's a pilot for a show that's not gonna be on.
Yeah.
Royce with Robert Forrester.
Yes. I saw that and I thought, I don't want to get involved in this.
It sounds creepy.
Plausible denial later on. Yeah.
Moosey Dryer is in it.
Yeah. It's. Oh yeah, you were saying about the Bionic Woman earlier, and the first star that I ever saw on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, not physical person, but the first star I ever saw there was Lindsay Wagner's, and I'm like, that's kind of a letdown. But and I was standing on Elvis's star during the harmonic convergence, which is weird because I was talking about Elvis or something, and the harmonic and this guy comes over and he goes, "You're not talking about Elvis. I'm not talking about Elvis. You're talking about Elvis." Right? He pointed down, and I was on Elvis's star. I've always had weird things, but I was once in a bar in LA, and I convinced, like I say, I lie to people in bars and they believe me, and I convinced the young lady there that under each of those stars was the actual celebrity buried vertically. I'm a horrible person. Yeah.
To quote Criswell, no one could prove it didn't
That's
happen.
true. No one can prove. Yeah, you can't prove it didn't happen. I dare you to prove any of that is wrong. Yeah,
So you do. This is a kind of a bad night for TV.
yeah, I'm
other than
watching The
Sanford Son.
Practice, which is
Yeah.
the Practice is a medical show in which two people argue because one person tells their patient that they're terminal, which I think you would have to do. I think
Eventually,
Yeah.
or not.
70s were a different time, I guess. I don't know. But there's something good's about to happen. At 9 p.m., John Boy and Patty Duke are in a film called You'll Like My Mother, which is described as a worthy successor to Psycho and Rosemary's Baby. It's not. I've seen it. It's not. And it's a pregnant young widow is trapped in a snowbound house. Now, just want to say something here. There was an abundance of great crap on TV when I was growing up as far as TV movies. You would have stuff like Bad Ronald, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. You would have, of course, Kolchak, The Night Stalker. Yeah. Trilogy of Terror. All this incredible stuff. Even stuff like the Norliss tapes, which wound up going.
Tapes is so good.
And the next day, you'd be in like 5th grade or something. The next day, you would go into school, and in math class, some kid would just start crying. You go, last night on the TV, it damaged so many kids. But like my level of expectation for TV, Crowhaven Farm, which takes place in Massachusetts, but looks like, what was definitely filmed outside Sacramento when you look at it now. My wife and I bonded over Crowhaven Farm. Our first night we met, we started talking about TV movies. And so when I first saw this, I was like, oh, this is one of the good ones. This is like a Bad Ronald or whatever, but it's not quite there. I think John Boy met I can't remember her name, like Cian or something. She was in everything at that time, and I think they had a long relationship afterwards.
Oh, Cian Barbara Allen.
Yeah, Cian Barbara Allen. It's one of those actresses you know her if you see her. Like Kim Darby. Kim Darby was in everything for a while. Yeah, but
the ad makes this look like a wacky comedy.
it does make it look like
The pictures they picked.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa.
It's great.
And the title, too.
John Boy-
You'll Like My Mother.
I've only seen John Boy play against 3 times. John Boy's played against characters. A film about he is obsessed with James Dean. And James Dean, and I think they just gave it the name of the date that James Dean died, and they changed it later on. But he's obsessed with James Dean. That's a freaky film. And then there is this, but there's also an episode of Night Gallery with Barbara Steele and John Boy. And John Boy's a sin eater. That is, like I know you've talked about Night Gallery being hit or miss on other episodes, and
That's
I always
a good
really,
episode.
That is a damn good episode. Yeah.
And I'm looking at my Barbara Steele autograph.
Ooh.
A picture of me and her.
Oh my God, that would be. I can't believe I don't have anything like that. I watched a movie called Honey Bunch last night, and I'm meeting because I meet a lot of directors, a lot of people in the music industry. Sometimes people will consult with me about horror movies or about soundtrack sounds, and I meet a lot of young people in their early 30s, and they're all obsessed with all this 70s stuff. They're like, what is this? What is, how, you know, and when you tell them that you saw Bear Ronald when it aired, or you saw, like, you know, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark when it aired, they're just completely freaked out. They're like, what was that like? What was that? So yeah, it's finally paying off now 50 years later.
It's a long con.
Yeah, it's a long con, yeah.
You just gotta wait it
Now,
out.
I understand you music, too. Can you do, like, a synth sound from this?
Like, which kind you want?
Yeah.
You tell me the movie, and you want, like, a Messiah.
Well, that was the weird thing.
Sound?
I said we didn't have cable. So all the stuff, like we talked about Night Gallery, that and Dark Shadows looked better to me because we had crappy reception. And my father would do stuff like, you go, son, I have to go out on the roof. We had two different levels of roofs, a lower one and a higher one, because we had, like, you know, how different levels to the house. Go out there and point the antenna towards Philadelphia. And this is why I live in Philadelphia, and I'd be out there in, like, a thunderstorm moving through, and my father would be yelling out the window, a little bit more. But everything now, when I first saw, when they re-released the Dark Shadow stuff, and I saw the skeleton of Reverend Trask, I'm like, that's from Edmund Scientific. Like, you would see, yeah. But my wife has a big Barnabas Collins tattoo. She's obsessed with
like, it was a little. Have you guys been to the house in Newport, the mansion?
No.
So Collinswood, that actual mansion, is in Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's and it looks exactly the same. And Jay Leno lives next door.
Oh, that's weird.
He bought the house next door, which is maybe the scariest.
Now
thing
I can never buy that house. If I get millions of dollars, I'd say, honey, guess what? Oh, that'd be so rough. Honey, guess what? We have the house from Barnsley. She'd be all obsessed and everything. Like, you know, you do it up like the house, and we move in, and Leno would come by the first night.
Wacky neighbor. Hey, borrow some sugar.
Let me tell you, okay, that Conan's not funny.
He drives by in like a Model T.
Yeah.
He's got that horn. Like I remember seeing the movie Gargoyles, the made-for-TV movie.
Yes, with the young lady who was in Soap.
Yes, and Bernie Casey as the lead gargoyle.
Yes.
And I saw that on like a UHF station as a kid, 13-inch TV, and they're cool monsters, but they look
good. They look
like
good.
the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I remember, like, I think Anchor Bay or someone put it out on DVD in the late 90s, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's once you got cable, some stuff did not look better. And you're like, you kind of pined for the days when you were like, oh, I just wish a storm would come through and blow that antenna in the wrong direction. Yeah. So I remember like trying to watch Night Gallery and stuff, which would come on after the Honeymooners, which I had to jump over the Honeymooners, watch Night Gallery, and then Soul Train would come on, and we have to turn the sound down so it wouldn't wake our parents up because you get that big, the Soul Train.
Yeah. I Dana Gould and I, we went to Creature Features in Burbank, and they had no longer with us, but they had an exhibit of all the paintings from Night Gallery.
From Night Gallery, I would kill to see. I remember they couldn't find them for a while. Yeah, I used to always ask what happened to them. Now Dana lives in. I know Jeff Fox, who produces his show.
Oh yeah, I know Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Fox is great. You got to have Jeff on.
I should have Jeff on today.
But Dana lives in Roddy McDowell's old house.
Not now, but he
Not
did.
now? Oh, he did.
Yeah,
okay.
he did. Yeah, he did in the bathroom, the famous Roddy McDowell bathroom. He donated it to the Hollywood Museum in the Max Factor building. So that whole bathroom, as it sat, with all the photographs and everything, is in the Hollywood Museum.
Roddy
you can
McDowell,
just walk into it.
Rodney McDowell's in what is probably, and I was just talking, I was on a movie podcast the other night, talking about my favorite film, one of my favorite films, probably it can fight for favorite, which is Lord Love-a-Duck.
Oh, that movie's so weird. Tuesday Weld.
Great film, yeah. My wife won't watch it because, Periwinkle, Pussycat, Peach, put down. But I just...
He's so creepy in that movie.
If I woke up every day in the house of Molly Mock, I might explain a lot. Yeah, I've never met Dana, but it might explain. I'm a big fan, huge fan. I love the Dr. Z stuff.
You get along very well. He has the original saucers from Plan 9. I've got to hold it.
I have a theory that he stole my life. He's what I'm supposed to be, because we're about the same age, and have similar interests. But I remember I began to come across him here and there, and there was basically a Vampira documentary that was made, and he popped up in it. I'm like, who is this guy, and why does he keep popping up in all the stuff I'm interested in? Yeah.
Anything else on Friday, or did we?
I think I've exhausted my Friday because I'm watching. Last thing I'm watching is You'll Like My Mother with of course John Boyga's Nanners.
And I think the last thing I remember seeing him in is It. He did stuff in the 90s. He must.
He's
have
probably done
stuff
since then.
He voices car commercials a lot. He did for a while, like
Really?
the new Lexus, whatever. It would be him.
That'd be a good gig for him. He's got a good TV voice.
Yeah, he had the voice. There is a movie on at 3:35 in the morning from 1958, and I only bring it up. It's an English comedy, and it's called I Married a Woman.
Well, it is Britain.
George Gobel is an ad executive trying to soothe his wife and an unhappy client. Diane Dors is in it, but that's just the best title ever.
It is. It's This really stands out. Yeah.
Oh, and the Channel 9 is showing the original 1951 Thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Too.
Channel 9, throughout this, Channel 9, Channel 11 have been battling back and forth with good horror movies. So, yeah. Yes, here's I Married a Woman is, 1958, George Gobel. Yeah, an ad executive trying to soothe his wife and an unhappy client. Oh, that sounds kinky.
Sounds right.
That's like an episode
farce.
of Love American Style,
Yeah,
which is, of course, where Happy Days came from.
Yes. There's a movie on 11:45 that I'm going to put on my list of apocalyptic movies that I've never seen or heard of. 1975 made-for-TV movie called The Missing Are Deadly.
Yeah, I saw that pop up. Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen this? An epidemic may result when a mouse contaminated by a rare and deadly disease is stolen.
No, I saw it when I was scrolling through because I couldn't stop scrolling through. I just couldn't stop looking.
Oh, yeah, there's such stuff, yeah.
I've never seen that one, yeah.
I never have either. George O'Hanlon Jr. I might have to see if I can hunt that down. That sounds like the Plague Dogs, but the Plague Dogs mixed with The Secret of Nim, but not as depressing as
Jose Ferrer's in it?
Yeah.
This is really good, yeah.
Decent. But yeah, Dr. Durov. So I assume there's some kind. Leonard Nimoy. Nimoy.
Oh,
I need to see this,
there was a podcast for a while called the In Search of Podcast. And I got to be there because I was on, I used to be fascinated by In Search of because
Same.
I was on tour and we came across an old episode of In Search of, and they had a bunch of people who were unhealthily obsessed with Thomas Edison, and they were out trying to contact spirits and ghosts, and this one guy with a Thomas Edison fetish out of nowhere in this graveyard goes, "Is Thomas Edison there with you?" And it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's so sad.
My favorite one is the Amityville Horror one, and Leonard Nimoy's in the house, and he's like, he's over it. He's like, nah.
No,
this
I'm
bullshit.
out.
Like,
And some of them really good. He did one about Van Gogh that was really good. Some of them are actually elevated TV. Some of them not so much.
No,
yeah.
Ogo Pogo. That's not the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
Oh, the Ogo Pogo one is the one with Gordy. Where they have, that's the one where they interview a guy. This is another great one. They interview a guy, says, some people say they aren't real, but I can prove they're real. How can you prove it? My friend Gordy's seen it.
And they're like, open and shut case.
Yeah, open and shut. It's a guy in Canada named Gordy. We can track him down.
It's legal to question anything a guy named Gordy in Canada says.
Yeah,
you have to take everything. It's like, if Gordy said it, it's true. That's how it works.
Gordy said it. I believe it. That settled it.
Are there any comfort shows you have now that you like watch for bedtime or anything?
I used to. My big comfort show for a long time was What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Which I love. I have like What We Do in the Shadows memorabilia. I believe that the character of Nadja is based on my wife. I think there's possible also, or maybe Laszlo is also based on me. There's a show that the name just slipped, actor's name just slipped my mind, but the actor who played Laszlo had been on
Toast to London?
Yeah, had been on Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Oh yeah, Dark Place is great.
And Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, I'm probably I was one of the only people for a while that loved it. It turned up on I think
Adult
either
Swim
Comedy Central or Adult Swim. Yeah. Somebody had showed it, and I was like, "Oh God, this is brilliant." They would reference previous episodes, and then the mist just went away, like the mist in the last episode. Yeah, I love that so much. And no, apparently they made 6 episodes. They showed 4 over in Britain, and nobody got it. But the actor still does Garth Marenghi. He puts out the books. He does little thing. I would love to go see him live. Yeah, I have very strange comfort TV. Occasionally I will find something on YouTube from my childhood and I'll sit and watch it. I listen to a lot of murder, anything with murder in it I find comforting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I went through and rewatched a lot of episodes of Kolchak the Night Stalker. They had it available. And I rewatched, of course, the pilots, which are 2 of my favorite things. But yeah, that's my sort of comfort TV. I'll find something I watched from the 70s or something more recent and I'm like, oh, this is really, really good. I can put this on and crash out.
Have you seen Dr. Terrible's House of Horrible?
That's the one with Coogan. I saw it and was not crazy about it, but it did have the great line. We all know that vampires aren't real, and the same with lesbians.
Yes, yeah. The best episode of that is the one that's like a parody of the Amicus anthology movies. I think it's like the third episode.
I should see it because I loved all those. You have like Tom Baker.
Good.
Before these folks were famous or whatever, they would pop up. And my wife and I are big fans of Tales from the Crypt, the 1972 version with Joan Collins in the All Through the House episode. That we watch that at Christmas every year. So.
Is it the Volta Horror one where I think Joan Collins might be in this one too, where the guy, this like tree sculpture starts turning into a real woman and like kills his wife? It's an Amicus anthology.
That's the one with the Wax Museum, I think, and they have Peter. Oh God! He comes over. It's the same one, I think, that has the vampire town. Like they only come out at night. Yeah. You don't want to be here at night, sir. They come out at night.
And the blind people, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I had a blast. Anytime, if you find another TV guide underneath the sofa and you want me to stop on by, I really, really enjoyed the hell out of it.
Rodney's the best. If you're none familiar with his various projects, get familiar with them. He's one of us, people, whether he wants to be or not. And always nice to have Philly people on the show. Next week, have another great episode. I did a little poll. People don't want to know who next week's guest is until the episode comes out. You like the surprise. So if you disagree with that, let me know. Or if you want to know, you can email me and I'll tell you personally via an email or something like that. If for some reason, you got to plan time, got to set some time aside to listen. Well, hopefully you listen every week. And if you do, wherever you listen, if you can leave a review, an honest review, even just the stars, whatever you want, that helps the show still stay in the algorithm. It's been a while since I think we've got a review on the streaming sites. So if you think of it, but not a big deal if you don't. Hope you guys are hanging in there. We start April next week. So what are we? We got through 3 months of 2026 so far. So 12 months of 2025, 3 months of 2026. We're at 15 months in. We're slowly chipping away at it. Also, April 11th, if you're in Western New England, I am opening for Todd Barry at the Iron Horse. So come out to that show. That could be fun. I haven't been to Northampton in a while. Sooner from when the Words and Pictures Museum closed. That was like 30 years ago, but it's been a few years. Anyway, next week, I'll be here. I hope you will too, for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
If truckers have it, I want it. And that includes a lot of STDs.